In this video, all the evidence, facts, and the profound secrets of scriptures presented are the essence of the discourses of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Each piece of evidence shown in this episode has been thoroughly explained by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj in his discourses. We would like to inform you that no tampering has been done with any of the evidence. The scriptures displayed in this episode are those kept in every Sanatani Hindu home. The evidence and hidden secrets from these scriptures are presented in this episode. Our objective with this video is not to hurt the feelings of any devotee. The primary aim of this video is to present the scripturally accurate knowledge to the public.
Hello viewers. Today we are going to present before you a very important episode titled The Story of the Decline of Sanatani Worship, as described by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, Part 3. Viewers, we would like to inform you that the first and second parts of The Story of the Decline of Sanatani Worship, as described by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, have received a very good response. Many people have commented on these two parts and shared that such logical and scripturally validated spiritual knowledge should have been available to humanity centuries ago. The spiritual path is incomplete without this knowledge. Many people have also commented that there is no match for this knowledge in the world, and no one can equal it. Such logical and scripturally validated episodes should be produced further to ensure that the entire Hindu community is informed about the Sanatani worship practices of Sanatan Dharma. Encouraged by your comments, we have brought you The Story of the Decline of Sanatani Worship, as described by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, Part 3. In this episode, authentic knowledge has been provided from both the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and the Sri Ramcharitmanas. In today's episode, profound secrets from the Ramcharitmanas will be revealed that have been hidden from all of us until now. Seeing these profound secrets of the Ramcharitmanas will astonish you, and you'll be compelled to curse these fake religious gurus, storytellers, and preachers, asking, why was such amazing knowledge hidden from us? After watching this episode, you will yourself say that all these so-called religious leaders are the destroyers of Sanatan Dharma. Viewers, after watching this episode, you will easily understand the secret behind the decline of Sanatani worship. We request all of you to watch this episode in its entirety. Please do not make the mistake of not watching this episode just because you think it's too long. Viewers, you are all educated. Consider this. When a student studies in school and college, then on seeing the thick textbooks, they do not think that they won't read the textbooks just because they are thick. Instead, the student reads those books with great interest, and by studying those extensive books of the syllabus over 14 or 15 years, achieves mastery in the field of education, which benefits them only in this life. Similarly, the spiritual path is one that will benefit you in this life, as well as in future lives. Viewers, only those who watch all these episodes with full interest will achieve mastery in the path of self-welfare, as these episodes are based on the spiritual teachings of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. We hope that you will not ignore our request and will definitely watch the entire episode. So, let's begin this episode and show you a glimpse of the arbitrary worship conducted in the name of Sanatani worship.
Hello viewers, once again, welcome to our episode titled The Story of the Decline of Sanatani Worship, as described by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, Part 3. Viewers, today's episode will begin with a question that will compel the entire Hindu community to think deeply about whether Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is a well-wisher of Sanatan Dharma or an opponent of it. So, without further delay, let's start today's episode.
Is Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj a supporter or opponent of Sanatan?
What is Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj doing? He is conspiring against our Hindu religion. We want to know from their followers why Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is specifically targeting our Hindu religion. Why is he focused on tarnishing the image of our Sanatan Dharma?
Is Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj really against the Hindu religion?
No, he believes in Sanatan Dharma. I am also a Sanatani, a Hindu, and the true knowledge that is given based on the scriptures both piche is the same knowledge that our Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is providing. First, listen to and understand his teachings, and only then come to a conclusion. You will clearly understand what kind of knowledge it is. He is imparting knowledge according to all the sacred scriptures.
Can we abandon Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh? Are we children? Tinu Deva Kamal Dal Base ये ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश, प्रथम इनकी वंदना, फिर सुन सतगुरु उपदेश।
Viewers, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is a completely Sanatani Sant. The knowledge that Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj imparts is solely from the sacred scriptures of the Hindu religion. He reveals the true knowledge of the holy texts of the Hindu religion to the devotee community. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj considers all holy scriptures to be true and shows utmost respect for all the deities, including Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, and others. He engages in their devotion and encourages others to do the same, while certain religious leaders, disguised as Hindu saints, are misleading you into the darkness of ignorance day and night. One such person is Sadhguru, also known as Jagi Vasudev. We will show you a video of him that will reveal how much of a true supporter of Sanatan Dharma he really is.
Iliad was written by Homer, right? A blind guy. He wrote that there are 14,000 horses. But since we know that he could not have seen it for himself, we believe that there's some sort of historical, storytelling going on there. Would you say, but nowadays, all the scriptures, religious scriptures, are taken as gospel. So should we also believe that there is myth-making in Ramayana, in Mahabharata, and that taking them as gospel rather than just work of literature is wrong?
I don't see anybody taking Ramayana and Mahabharata as a gospel.
There are certain factions which are…
No. They cannot, because they'll get freaked out with confusion. Because there are all kinds of people in Mahabharata, the best sort of men, the worst sort of men, in between every kind of man and woman. Is there over 100,000 characters? How can you make a gospel out of it? Now, why we are worshipping Rama in this country is, he's not a super success. He's a serial disaster, if you look at it. Yes. Even today he's having real estate issues, that's why you brought this up. But it is not today alone. It's not today alone. Right from the beginning of his life, he's in trouble and trouble and trouble and trouble. See, he's rightfully a king. He's coronated at the age of 17 or 18. He marries a princess, and within 1 or 2 years, he's sent to the forest. They didn't go to the jungle for picnic. As some of the television serials are showing Rama, Sita doing all that. No, it is throwing him out of the kingdom from his power and everything. That itself would have shattered a man, but he settled down there.
But Rama is also an insecure person who, when Sita came back to him, first she sat through fire.
We will come there, don't jump. First let's kidnap her, no. See, now you're changing see, now you're changing the sequence of things. First let's kidnap her, all right? Now the Sri Lankan people come and kidnap his wife and go away. After all, he is a king. If somebody steals his wife and takes her away some 3,000 kilometers down south, there's no GPS to even find out where is Sri Lanka, all right? At a time like that, being a king, he could have found a local solution. There would be any number of women to marry the men, he's a king.
Viewers, what will you now say about this self-proclaimed spiritual leader who considers himself the greatest spiritual thinker in the world, but views Lord Sri Ram as nothing more than an unsuccessful person? Yes, an absolutely unsuccessful person. Listen to it once again.
Why we are worshipping Rama in this country? He's not a super success.
He's not a super success.
Viewers, this video clearly shows that this arrogant and ignorant Jagi Vasudev, in his ignorance and arrogance, considers himself superior. Far from recognizing Lord Sri Ramchandra, the Lord of the three worlds, and an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, as God, he doesn't even regard him as a successful person.
Why we are worshipping Rama in this country is, he's not a super success. He's a serial disaster, if you look at it.
He's not a super success.
Viewers, this is the biggest proof of their arrogance. While innocent devotees consider such spiritual leaders to be supporters of Hinduism. In reality, these spiritual leaders are digging up the roots of Hinduism and are bent on turning people into atheists. Jagi Vasudev didn't stop here. He also made an indecent mockery of Sri Janki Ji, that is, Sita Ji. With great shamelessness, he is mocking her abduction. Watch this.
But Rama is also an insecure person who, when Sita came back to him, first she sat through fire.
We will come there, don't jump. First let's kidnap her, no? See, now you're changing the see, now you're changing the sequence of things.
First, let's kidnap her, no?
First let's kidnap her, all right?
Viewers, after hearing the comments Jagi Vasudev made regarding the Ram temple, it will seem as though he considers Sri Ram to be so helpless and unsuccessful that even now, he is struggling to acquire the land for the Ram temple.
Why we are worshipping Rama in this country is, he's not a super success. He's a serial disaster, if you look at it. Yes, even today is having real estate issues, that's why you brought this up.
Now think, who is anti-Hindu or anti-Sanatan? Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj or this self-proclaimed Sadguru, who builds false glory by hosting events with the highest-ranking leaders of the country. Viewers, in this video, you have seen that Sri Jagi Vasudev does not even believe in the deities and, on the contrary, is making indecent jokes about Lord Sri Ram, the Lord of the three worlds, and Goddess Sita. Despite this, no one calls him anti-Hindu. In fact, the audience, who seem to be Hindus themselves, are clapping and laughing, supporting his offensive jokes. Sri Jagi Vasudev considers Lord Ramchandra Ji to be nothing more than an unsuccessful person, because after watching the video we are about to show you, there will be no doubt left in your mind. Watch how Sadguru, alias Jagi Vasudev, mocks Lord Sri Krishna and other deities.
The soul is sacred for people. The body is filthy. How is it possible? Yes? That's what we've been doing, isn't it so? Saying God is sacred, creation is filthy. How is it possible? The very thought of God occurred to you only because you saw creation, isn't it? When you were born and you opened your eyes, you looked around, so much creation. Before you came here, so much has happened. Obviously, you did not create it. So you thought, there must be a creator. This is how you come to the creator, isn't it? The moment you thought there must be a creator, because you're in a human form, you thought it must be a big man. A small man like me cannot do all this. It must be a big man. Just 2 hands, how can it do so much creation? Must be 8 hands. Isn't it? Isn't it so? If you were a buffalo, you would be really thinking, God is a huge buffalo. Isn't it so? Yes or no? You go and ask a buffalo and see. A buffalo will insist, God is a huge buffalo, maybe 4 horns. You know Idi Amin? You heard of Idi Amin? The Uganda man? Idi Amin declared, God is black. I agree with him. If a white man can have a white God, why can't a black man have a black God? But both those people are confused. We know God is brown. We have man God, we have woman God, we have cow God, we have monkey God, we have everything. every kind, crawling one, creeping one, flying one, because we foresaw all the problems of the future. See, when man was the most powerful force on the planet, man was naturally God. Now women are also gaining in their power, so women are questioning, why can't it be a woman? So tomorrow suppose dogs gain lot of power which they're gaining, so dogs will ask, why not a dog god? Actually the spelling also is close, you know. He seemed to be closer than you, isn't it? So your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself, isn't it? Your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself. See, you're still not able to define yourself, isn't it? Whatever definition you put on yourself is not correct. Any kind of definition you put on you, it is not enough to describe this one. When this small piece of creation is like this, the source of creation, how are you going to put a definition on it? You cannot define it, you cannot understand it, you can only dissolve into it. You can experience it, you can never know it, you can't make knowledge out of it. Whatever knowledge you have about God is just pure nonsense, cultural nonsense.
Viewers, in this video, you have seen Jaggi Vasudev mocking Lord Krishna and other deities to his heart's content, and shamelessly comparing God to a dog and a buffalo.
If you were a buffalo, you would be really thinking, God is a huge buffalo. Isn't it so? Yes or no? You go and ask a buffalo and see. A buffalo will insist, God is a huge buffalo.
By saying this, he is essentially certifying himself as a complete atheist. Viewers, it's surprising that spiritual leaders who mock Hindu deities and compare God to a dog and a buffalo are never called anti-Hindu. On the other hand, there is Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, who does not utter a single word outside of the Hindu scriptures. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is the only sant who worships and promotes the true devotion of the Panch Devas according to Hindu devotional practices. Yet, to label him as anti-Hindu is merely the propaganda of these ignorant spiritual leaders trying to hide their own ignorance. This ignorance and arrogance are now evident before you. Despite this, misconceptions are spread that he speaks against Hinduism, while the real anti-Hindus are these religious leaders. Regarding spiritual leaders like Jaggi Vasudev, it is written in the Suksham Ved that Ram Naam ka sikka mete, dubenge abhimani. It means those who deny the existence of God, such arrogant people, will certainly face downfall. In contrast, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, along with his disciples, performs daily prayer of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, singing boundless praises of these deities, and this is evident before you.
परम पदगामी जय जय शंभु शंकर नाथा कला गणेश्वर गौरज माता कोटि कटक पैमाल करंता ऐसे शंभु समरथ कंता तब ललिलाट सुर संगीता योगी शंकर जानम गीता नीलकंठ सोहे गरुड़ासन शंभु योगी अचल सिंहासन विष्णुनाथ है असुर निकंदन संतों के सब काटे बंधन नरसिंह रूप धरे गुरु राया हिरणाकुश कुमारन दाया शंख चक्र गदा पद्म विराज बाल तिलक जाके उल्लासे वाहन गरुड़ कृष्ण असवारा लक्ष्मी लोरे चौरे अपारा रावण मई रावण से मारे से तुम से ना दल तारे जरा से और बालिक पाए आई कंस के सिचानोर हराए काले में नागे ना था शिशुपाल चक्र से काटा माथा काले वन मथुरा पर धाए 18 कोट कटक चढ़ आए मुचकल पर पीतांबर डारा काले वन जामे सिंगारा।
Viewers, you can watch the full video of the prayer performed daily by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj and his disciples in praise of the deities by clicking the link in the description box. Viewers, all this proves that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is the greatest benefactor of Sanatan Dharma, while these religious leaders, who wear the mask of being supporters of Sanatan and Hinduism, are actually its biggest opponents. Viewers, these so-called spiritual leaders are the roots of the downfall of Sanatani worship. Now, we will show you another video of this self-proclaimed scholar, where he talks to the public about the state of the soul. Watch this.
What you call as my soul right now is like a bubble. The outer periphery of the bubble is your karmic structure. Inside, there is air. Suppose you blow the bubble, you burst the bubble. Where is the air? Where is your air? There is no such thing as your air, it's become part of everything. So what you call as soul is fictitious, because there is no such thing as your soul and my soul and somebody else's soul.
Viewers, you have just heard the spiritual views of Sri Jagi Vasudev. He does not believe in the existence of the soul. He understands the soul in such a way that it is like a bubble in water. When the bubble bursts, the air inside is released. The bubble was made of air, and it merges with the air. He claims that there is no soul, that the soul is not a real entity, but merely an imagination. Just as a bubble bursts and the air escapes, similarly, when a person dies, they cease to exist. The air merges with the air, and that is their liberation. After hearing the views of Jagi Vasudev, it is clear that he considers the soul to be perishable. Whereas, in Gita chapter 15, verse 16, it is clearly stated that while the bodies of all living beings are perishable, the soul is indestructible. The Gita affirms that the soul is eternal, meaning it never ceases to exist and is never destroyed. In contrast, Jagi Vasudev likens the soul to a bubble of water, which, once it leaves the body, dissipates into the air, losing all existence. Viewers, his views are directly in opposition to our sacred scriptures. Makes it clear that Jagi Vasudev is completely ignorant and atheistic. Viewers, this is the spiritual knowledge of so-called supremely knowledgeable Jagi Vasudev. He speaks like this because he does not follow any scriptures. He shares his own self-made knowledge, which he has pieced together with innocent devotees, leading them towards the path of hell. Not only does he practice behavior against the scriptures, but he also encourages his followers to do the same. It is because of exposing such self-proclaimed gurus that people are calling Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj anti-Hindu, while the truth is right before you. We are also saying this because the views of Sadguru Jagi Vasudev are completely contrary to the sacred Hindu scripture, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. First, listen to these thoughts of Jagi Vasudev, and then we will show you what the Gita says.
I don't think ever any scripture has mentioned that your life is predetermined or preordained. This is an import from outside. You must understand the fundamental nature of what this culture is it's rooted in this. This is a godless culture, you must understand this. There has never been an idea of God in this country. It's an imported value, let me put this into perspective, because it upsets lots of people. We have many divine entities, many. We count some 33 million, something like that. How did all these gods come up? So, the idea, the monotheistic idea is there's a god sitting out there and doing things to you, so they believe in dictatorship, that there is somebody who determines everything. Not so in this culture. Here, there is no idea of God, but there are many divine entities. What are these entities? Generally, if you look back, the language that was used for all the deities that you have
is, you're a Devi, is a yantra, always a yantra. The word yantra, we clearly know gods are our making. It is just that others have forgotten. So here we told you, your life is your karma. This means your life is your making. Where is the question of preordained? Such a thing never arises in this culture. It's only because of the tools human beings have become who they are.
Viewers, did you hear that? It's astonishing that one of the biggest faces of Hinduism, under whose guidance even the Prime Minister of India is seeking knowledge, holds such views. Jagi Vasudev Ji is saying that there is no God who created the universe. There is no God sitting above who is running the world. According to him, it's just a woman. You can consider her a goddess, or you can consider her as an instrument, just like other things are created using an instrument. Similarly, your creation is the result of the union between a man and a woman. Viewers, after hearing these views, can you really consider him a well-wisher of Hinduism? Whereas, there is clear evidence in the Rig Ved, Mandal 9, Sukt 54, Mantra 3, and Rig Ved, Mandal 9, Sukt 86, Mantra 27, that the Supreme God resides in the third part of Dulak, and is Tishtati, that is, seated above all the universes. While sitting there, he controls all worlds, sustains and nurtures all souls, and keeps account of everything. Whereas, Jagi Vasudev Ji says that there is no God sitting above. There is no God who determines our future. Listen again to his scripturally contradictory knowledge.
The idea, the monotheistic idea is there's a God sitting out there and doing things to you, so they believe in dictatorship. That there is somebody who determines everything. Not so in this culture. Here, there is no idea of God.
This clearly indicates that Jagi Vasudev does not believe in our scriptures at all. See, later Jagi Vasudev Ji says that there is no such thing as destiny. No scripture states that destiny is predetermined. He says this because he himself does not believe in any scripture. Viewers, for individuals like Jagi Vasudev, it is written in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 8, that those people with demonic nature say that the world is without a base, completely unreal, and without any God, created solely by the union of male and female, with sex as its only cause. It is nothing apart from this. Those with such beliefs are of demonic nature. In the very next verse, it is stated that with this viewpoint, following the false knowledge, these disgraceful souls, who are dim-witted, who harm everyone, who perform cruel deeds, are born for the destruction of the world. Viewers, what greater proof could there be? The most trusted Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, clearly states that individuals with views like those of Jagi Vasudev are of a demonic nature and are born for the destruction of the world. Viewers, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has exposed the ignorance of many such so-called religious leaders like this before the public, and as a result, such a great saint himself has had to face the opposition of the people. The religious leaders from whom you hope for the betterment of your life are, in fact, your greatest enemies. Whereas, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is tirelessly working day and night for the well-being of the people, selflessly striving to make your life prosperous. Viewers, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj and his entire followers hold great respect for Lord Shri Ram, as Lord Shri Ram, also known as Lord Vishnu, is a strong pillar of Sanatan Dharma. Let us show you a glimpse of this. When the sacred Shri Ram temple was constructed at the birthplace of Shri Ram in Ayodhya and opened for devotees for darshan at that time, arrangements for a community feast were made under the guidance of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Listen to what devotees of Shri Ram, who came from every corner of the country, have to say about Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj.
I have heard name of Guruji for the first time here and having received all the facilities provided. I am now a fan of Guruji.
This service is excellent. Seeing the service here, I feel very blessed, as if I have had a glimpse of Lord Ram. This is how we are feeling.
Is the entire cleaning and maintenance arrangement proper here?
It's perfect, absolutely top-notch. Sir, the community feast organized through Sant Rampal Ji is excellent. We have been here since yesterday, and the arrangement for the feast is very good. People are receiving food 24 hours a day without any inconvenience. And his staff is very helpful, assisting everyone and serving the food.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Ramesh Prasad Mishra. I have come from Jabalpur.
Look, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the most revered Sant Rampal Ji from my side and on behalf of the entire team and devotees who have come from Saharanpur district. He has made such beautiful arrangements here. The service being provided by all his devotees here is excellent. It is a beautiful arrangement, with meticulous attention to cleanliness, water arrangements, meaning it is amazing and everything is free of charge. Not a single rupee is being collected from anyone. Such a wonderful arrangement is made with a big heart. I express my sincere gratitude and appreciation for this.
In this event, organized by revered Sant Rampal Ji, we had lunch this afternoon and perhaps also had dinner yesterday. The arrangement is so beautiful and the food is so delicious that it's unparalleled. The food is so tasty, excellent. It is absolutely delicious and most importantly, it's free of charge. And seeing the dedication of all the volunteers working here, I feel truly overwhelmed. Everything is amazing. The cleanliness is excellent. There are no issues at all. The arrangement is superb, fantastic.
The food is excellent. I'm Arvind Singh and we are responsible for managing the 6 food distribution events that are functioning here in Navayodhya. We have eaten the prasad from the community meal, Bandara. What we found most impressive about it was that the prasad is indeed extremely delicious, without any doubt about it. However, the heartfelt attitude of those serving it is enhancing the taste of the prasad twofold.
They serve the food with a lot of love and affection. You are feeling wonderful?
They say, Roti Ram, Sabzi Ram, Dal Ram, Halwa Ram, every item has Ram in it. The way they say it with so much love makes you want to eat more. If a devotee wants just one roti or puri, they end up having 2 or 3 because of the heartfelt service. I found this to be the most beautiful experience. The best thing that no matter how large the crowd, there is no problem and no one shows any sign of inconvenience. Every time I come here, they keep telling me, send more people, there's no need to worry. We will serve food 24 hours, we will serve tea 24 hours. Seeing this level of dedication, I have experienced such profound devotion for the first time in my life.
Sir, as someone who is also involved in the service of Ramji, how does it feel to receive such warm assurances from the followers of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, who invite you and assure you that you are always welcome and that you can send as many devotees as you wish? How do you feel when receive such a supportive environment?
It feels like the grace of Lord Ram himself is upon us, as we have met such people who assure us with complete confidence that no matter how many people come, we should send them. All our worries about handling large numbers have disappeared. I am now completely at ease, knowing that with Sant Rampal Ji's followers here, I have left all my concerns to Sant Rampal Ji.
Thank you so much, sir. Is there anything else you'd like to say about how you felt about the behavior of these people?
Very pleased. I don't have the words to express how grateful I am to them.
The camp here has a well-organized setup. The food is being served properly, and the food is so good that even at a VIP restaurant, you might not get such good food.
Look, such a beautiful feast is going on here, that joy is pouring down, and we can clearly see the grace of Sant Rampal Ji showering upon us.
Sir, we would like to ask you what you do and what position you hold, man.
I am a worker of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Rashtriya Samvasevak Sangh in Saharanpur. I have been associated with the RSS and BJP for the past 40 to 45 years and have held various positions. There cannot be a greater fortune for us than that Ram Lalla is now residing here. And along with Ram Lalla, we are receiving the blessings of Guru Maharaj Ji. I consider this to be a great blessing for us. A train has come from Saharanpur with thousands of workers, and all the way there have been chants of Jai Shri Ram. Here we are also receiving the blessings of Baba Rampal Ji. What greater fortune could there be than seeing Ram Lala and also partaking in the feast organized by Rampal Ji? The feast was like nectar, truly divine. You see, we partook in this nectar. What greater fortune could there be? His blessings are not only showered across the country, but throughout the world. I read his literature. When I see the youth distributing their literature, or when they come to Saharanpur, I often read their books. Their philosophy is quite extraordinary and expansive. It's a unique perspective. You could say that people like Rampalji are very rare in this world. In the world, very few people like Rampalji are born, who give a new direction to the society. He has written extensively about the Kabir path, and I have read it all. I have had the good fortune to read. When I came here and saw this feast and the arrangements under this pavilion, I was truly amazed. The way his followers, in disciplined lines, maintain such cleanliness. There is a lot of cleanliness, and the arrangement of food is beautiful. The tea is exceptionally good. Look, if you go to a restaurant, you'd have to pay 20 to 30 to 50 rupees for a cup of tea, but here it's being served continuously. This is a testament to his special grace. Otherwise, this wouldn't be possible. I extend my heartfelt thanks and I bow deeply to Rampalji's feet. Sants like Rampalji should be in the entire world. Only then there will welfare of this country.
Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has brought about an unparalleled revolution, not only in social upliftment, but also in the spiritual path. Today, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is being regarded as a Jagat Guru, world Guru. Every word of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is based on the holy scriptures, as the path to the welfare of life is hidden within these scriptures. Only a truly enlightened Sant or Tattvadarshi can reveal this path accurately. At present, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is the only Tattvadarshi Sant.
It is surprising that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is accused of being anti-Sanatan, while in reality, he is the only Sant who bases his devotion solely on the teachings of all the holy scriptures of Sanatan Dharma and encourages others to do the same. On the other hand, there is a group of fake religious leaders wearing the mask of Sanatan Dharma who are making the devotee community perform only arbitrary practices. In this rapidly changing modern era, rituals, traditions, and spiritual practices are also evolving rapidly. In such a scenario, the question arises, is the devotion and spiritual practice of Sanatan Dharma also being altered in this era? Has Sanatan worship under the name of Sanatan rituals deteriorated? If spiritual practices become arbitrary, there can be no greater sorrow for human life than this. The biggest lie being told today, under the guise of Sanatani worship, is the enforcement of arbitrary practices in place of the teachings of the Gita and the Vedas.
Viewers, another living example of this is this woman who has become an Agori sadhu, whose name is Diya Nath. When you learn why Diya Nath chose the path of becoming an Agori sadhu, you will understand that merely being spiritual in life is not enough. In the spiritual realm, finding the right direction is the most important thing. Once a doctor by profession, Diya Nath was a completely atheistic woman. So how did the desire to live such a difficult and terrifying life arise in her?
Many people believe that Agoris are the living embodiment of Lord Shiv in the age of Kali Yuga. Agor is one of the 5 forms of Shiv, and this is why most Agori Babas worship Lord Shiv. However, to make themselves more powerful, they also worship Goddess Kali. For these reasons, there is always curiosity among people about these Agori sadhus. Intoxicated by cannabis and datura, keep a distance from people and don't require any material comforts for their livelihood. It is also said that Agoris possess a special instrument to communicate with ghosts and spirits. There are even claims that Agori Babas have dark powers that allow them to communicate with the dead. It is indeed reported in various interviews and documentaries that many Agori Babas have admitted to consuming human flesh. These Agoris often live in cremation grounds and eat the flesh of corpses. They also use substances derived from deceased bodies, believing that such practices enhance their powers.
We are currently in Tarapit, Bengal. We are at a cremation ground where many Aghori people reside. Among them, a female Aghori is with us, who pursued medical studies and studied in Germany. After that, she became a sannyasi around 8 to 10 years ago, and has been living an aghori life since then. She is currently sitting near the cremation ground. She is sitting in the cremation ground. How are you?
I'm perfectly fine.
What is your name?
Agori Dianath,
Aghori Dianath. How far have you studied?
post-graduation diploma in aesthetic medicine and cosmetology.
Where did you study?
Greifswald University, Germany.
Oh, you studied in Germany? You lived in Germany and studied there and then returned to India and became an ascetic, an aghori.
Yes, I studied in Germany. I used to live in India and went there for studies. Then something happened in my life, as nothing happened suddenly as such. I used to feel from earlier that there is so much in the cosmos things that spiritually we could not find answers to.
8 to 10 years ago, you became an aghori, a spiritual ascetic. You studied in Germany, you have an iPhone, and even though you're living the life of an aghori, you still have an iPhone and are part of the modern world. How does it feel to live as an aghori now? And was there a particular event earlier? There must have been a particular incident in your life that led you to become an ascetic, and you are living in a cremation ground?
You see, I have explored many paths in spirituality, each with its own tradition and guidance. But this place, the cementation ground, is where every human ultimately ends up. And I had already lived through those final moments which being alive. In my life, I had a major car accident. And before that, let me tell you one thing. I didn't believe in anything, all these stones, mantras, and there are many other things.
Meaning you never believed in religious practices, stones, rituals, etc.
I never believed in any of them. But that turning point in my life was the incident when I had a major accident where my entire left body part was completely smashed. I went into a coma. After that, the doctor had given up hope and told my family that there was only 72 hours or so left.
Meaning your accident resulted in half of your body ceasing to function and the doctors had also given up. Then how did you recover?
I was in a coma stage. I had a total of 27 major surgeries on my body.
Oh, you had 27 surgeries after that. Are you healthy now?
I'm completely alright. Then, during that time, when I was in a coma and there was no hope for my recovery, in the same bed in the nursing home, I felt one day as if someone was taking me out and was carrying me on his palm. I could see myself from a distance as if someone was taking me, lifting me on his palm. At that moment, the RMO entered the room where I was as a coma patient, and immediately he went and I saw the RMO coming closer to my body and checked the monitor, which had gone completely blank. This means that I had left the coma stage and had moved to the another realm. I was myself watching this. As soon as I felt that I had fallen from his palm, I was trying very hard to return, but I could not get back into my own body. It still gives me a goosebumps. After some time, I felt that after a lot of effort, I had returned with a purpose.
You mean to say that you felt like your body was
I
disconnected
was
from
watching
your inner
myself
self?
from a distance, seeing my body from afar.
Viewers, this interview with Dia Nath must have made you think deeply about how, despite being an educated woman, she chose to become an aghori. Viewers, Dia Nath mentioned that she had many questions about spiritual life, for which she found no answers anywhere.
There are many things in the cosmos for which spiritually we haven't found answers to our questions.
In other words, the spiritual leaders Dia Nath approached were unable to answer her spiritual questions. She encountered teachers who claimed that the soul is like a bubble that merges with nature after the body dies, losing all existence. However, Dia Nath in her personal experience has publicly proved Jagi Vasudev wrong and a liar, and she has clarified that even after her soul and body separated, the soul remained existent and is still present today, meaning it exists within her body. Such religious teachers have misguided countless devotees like Diya Nath due to their ignorance. Viewers, this devotee soul, who became an Agori in search of God, has no idea that the answers she seeks by becoming an Agori. Here also, she will get nothing but disappointment. Even here, her life is being deceived because Agori sadhus, considering Shiv as their deity, engage in intense meditation with the hope of welfare in their lives, so that after this life, they may never experience sorrow or undergo birth and death again. Therefore, they prioritize their current lives above shame, modesty, and decorum, dedicating themselves to rigorous spiritual practices. They do not even hope for happiness in this life. Unfortunately, this religious practice will only bring more suffering to them because these so-called spiritual leaders have not introduced them to the Holy Scriptures. Because it is evident in the Scriptures that Lord Shiv himself is a devotee of the Param Akshar Brahm, the Supreme God. It is a matter worth pondering. How can one devotee grant liberation to another devotee? Only Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has presented the sacred scriptures to the devotee society and revealed their deep secrets before everyone. He has exposed the truth to the world that even Lord Shiv undergoes birth and death. If even Lord Shiv is not immortal, then what hope do you have in sacrificing your life to these arbitrary practices? Further in this episode, we will elaborate on which spiritual practice can lead to your complete liberation, which God Lord Shiv worships, who is that supreme God who can permanently end the cycle of birth and death. Viewers, just think, this woman is sitting among hundreds of Agori sadhus in a cremation ground. The smoke from the burning pyres is blowing towards her face, yet, undeterred by this, she remains resolute in her pursuit of the Supreme God, along with the other Agori sadhus. Viewers, it is precisely to remove all this ignorance that Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj is making efforts. Through his discourses, Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj is strengthening everyone's faith by showing evidence from all religious scriptures. He asserts that any devotional practice not mentioned in the Gita and Vedas is self-willed, meaning it is an arbitrary practice. The spiritual practices that Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj is teaching the devotee community are all validated by the scriptures, which everyone should accept to make their life truly blessed. We also request this Agori devotee sister to watch the Creation of Universe video by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj on Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj YouTube channel or Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj app. In this Creation of Universe video, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has provided verified answers to every question of every devotee in search of the Supreme God. These answers will bring everlasting happiness to both your present and future life. Viewers, this Agori woman, in search of God, has unfortunately embarked on a path misled by ignorant religious gurus. As a result, she may attain occult knowledge and powers through intense penance and severe practices, but she will not achieve salvation, moksha, whereas the main purpose of worship is to attain salvation. Moksha, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj will reveal the correct and proven path to salvation further in this video, so make sure to watch till the end. How these mystical powers can lead to their ruin in the future is something we will present to you with a real-life example. This is Ram Sewak Das, a resident of Faridabad, Haryana. Surrounded by thousands of disciples, Ram Sewak Ji possessed numerous mystical powers. Ram Sewak Ji, who has the Ramayana memorized, believes that there are many unresolved mysteries in the Ramayana that no sant or sage, except Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, has been able to unravel. Whichever religious leaders he went to, he was met with only disappointment. Blessed with many mystical abilities, anyone who came into contact with Ram Sewak Ji would find themselves becoming prosperous. Ram Sewak Ji never sent anyone away empty-handed, especially those who came to him with the desire for children. However, what happened that made Ram Sewak Ji feel that all of this was leading him toward destruction? Viewers, those who are risking their human life in pursuit of mystical powers should take Ram Sewak Ji's experience as an example. Listen to the story of Ram Sewak Ji, who had memorized the Ramcharitmanas in his own words.
Hello, sir.
Sat Sahib Ji,
What is your name?
Ram Sevak Das,
Where are you from?
Faridabad, Haryana.
Ram Sevak Ji, we have heard that you held the title of Guru, had long dreadlocks, and even thousands of disciples. You were said to possess mystical powers and abilities. Could you please clarify all of this for our viewers and explain it clearly to them?
Devotee. From the beginning of my childhood, I was a disciple of Swami Atmananji and spent 27 years under his guidance. Then, naturally, I gained a lot of knowledge. I discussed and resolved many things by visiting various saints and paths. In 1994, I took refuge in Sant Rampal and stayed for 17 years, but even there, my doubts were not cleared.
You mentioned that you went to the shelter of Asharam Bapuji. So, what method of worship did Asharam Bapuji teach you?
The method of worship of Asaram Bapu was that he used to give 7 mantras. He would give one special mantra, and among the 7 mantras, you could choose whichever you liked. He would then guide you to chant that special mantra.
Please continue.
And along with that, I used to worship Hanumanji. There's a Hanuman temple in my village, and I used to worship Hanumanji a lot. I observed the Ekadashi fast and many other fasts. I would fast at least 5 to 6 times a month, sometimes even 7. I attained some powers, siddhis, but my mind never found peace and my doubts remained unresolved. I had fully memorized the Ramayana and I have forgotten it with great difficulty. Whenever I had to sit with someone for a spiritual discussion, Hari Katha, no one could outdo me in the conversation and they would end up becoming my disciple. In this way, I gained around 2 to 2,500 disciples, all of whom followed my orders.
You mentioned about your spiritual accomplishments and powers. Could you explain in a bit more detail how you obtained those accomplishments and powers?
The world used to benefit from my mystical powers. Many barren women had offspring. Not just one woman, many of them. People would receive accurate betting numbers that brought financial gains. In this situation, I found myself trapped. During this time, my wife fell ill. I traveled all over India. I went everywhere for help. I sought rural treatments, consulted doctors, and even went to Balaji. I pleaded everywhere.
1 minute. You just mentioned that your wife fell ill. You yourself had so many mystical powers. Did you not treat your wife yourself?
Yes, I did try myself. One day I said that only the complete God, if he came to earth, would cure you. No one else would be able to do so. People made fun of me. Then there is a devotee who...
Did she not recover fully from your mystical powers?
It was only helpful enough that she would get better for 24 hours, or 4 hours, or 10 hours, or for 2 days.
So whatever her illness or problem was, how did she finally recover completely in the end? Please explain this.
In the end, we found out that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj Ji, in the form of the complete God, was present in Barwala. So, in the 6th month of 2014, we went to Barwala. First, my wife went. 2 people had to carry her on their shoulders to take her there. She received initiation, Nam Diksha, there. They told her about 21 conditions of the complete God and said that if she accepted these conditions, she would be healed immediately. She accepted the conditions, and as soon as the Supreme God gave her the initiation, she was cured. After getting well, she came running back and said, "Leave all this worship and rituals. Give up your title of Guru, for the complete God has appeared. Take refuge in him."
So according to you, your wife only received initiation from Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj and her illness was completely cured.
Yes, her illness was completely cured.
The powers you had, even with them, you couldn't heal her.
Yes, the mystical powers I had didn't work. The powers I had were from Hanumanji, Goddess Kali, and other deities from all the rituals I performed. I did have mystical powers, and others benefited from them, but my wife didn't receive any benefit. My wife was healed by taking refuge in the complete God, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, and by receiving initiation.
You mentioned that your wife's illness was cured, so when your wife's illness was cured after taking refuge in Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, what thoughts came to your mind at that time? Because you were a guru yourself with so many disciples. What were your thoughts when your wife was healed?
At that time, I realized that I had been making a huge mistake, and the consequence of this mistake would be that I would have to go to hell. At the very least, I wanted to secure my next birth. So I took refuge in Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj and received initiation, Nam Diksha. After receiving the initiation, I was blessed and I have been following the rules given by him, which are to be followed for life, and I still follow them today.
What is the difference between the knowledge you received from your gurus and the knowledge that Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj imparts? Please clarify.
The knowledge of Rampal Ji Maharaj is complete knowledge in which all doubts are resolved, whether they are from the Ramayana, the Gita, the Vedas, or anything else you've heard. All doubts are completely eliminated upon taking refuge in Guruji Rampalji. The doubts never leave, whether they are doubts from the Ramayana or the Gita, because the authors of those texts were not devotees of the complete God. This complete God provides full satisfaction to the soul for those who become his devotees.
As for your previous gurus, did you not find complete satisfaction there?
No, there was never complete satisfaction. There was always some doubt lingering. When we took refuge in the Supreme God, all doubts were dispelled, and the Supreme God's immense grace is always upon us, and all tasks are accomplished successfully on their own. At that time, I had accumulated a debt of 1.8 million through all those spiritual practices, and my factory had closed down. It was a terrible situation. Getting involved with the mystical powers brings great trouble, and one should not get entangled in them. For those who have already fallen into that trap, it will be very difficult to get out. I would say it's nearly impossible. They will only be able to escape when they take refuge in the complete God, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Otherwise, no one can save them.
You just mentioned that you have made Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj your guru. So after making Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj your guru, what kind of peace or mental satisfaction did you attain? Can you describe this?
Look, after taking refuge in Rampal Maharaj Ji, until then, we were just living beings. But now we have become swans. A swan can separate milk from water. It drinks the milk and leaves the water behind. Similarly, we leave behind worldly things and the material aspects of life. After gaining the knowledge of the Supreme God, we aspire for salvation.
Viewers, you have just heard the thoughts of Ram Sevak Ji, in which he explained that he was endowed with numerous mystical powers. However, upon receiving the scripture-based knowledge of Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj, he realized that liberation, moksha, could not be attained through these mystical powers. You also heard that he had memorized the Ramcharitmanas. Today, we will reveal all the secrets of this Ramcharitmanas that will astonish you.
If you are truly a genuine Sanatani, you must have complete faith in the certified scriptures, the Vedas, and the Gita. So, let's together examine the truth and falsehood through the lens of these scriptures today. Viewers, the entire Hindu community considers the Ramcharitmanas composed by Tulsidas to be a certified scripture.
The Ramcharitmanas is a living ocean of love. It is the embodied form of Siyaram, and its verses represent the form of God. Singing the Ramcharitmanas signifies the attainment of Siyaram.
How can anyone raise a finger against such a sacred text? Every word in it is itself Brahm, Every word is divine. Understand this. It is everything.
No Sanatani should have any doubts about the Ramcharitmanas.
The Ramcharitmanas is a true scripture that reveals the essence of life.
Viewers, let us first share with you what these religious leaders have conveyed about the essence of the Ramcharitmanas. Listen, our religious leaders have only told you a story that Lord Vishnu himself incarnated and was born from the womb of Mother Kaushalya. At the time of his birth, he clearly showed his four-armed form to Mother Kaushalya, indicating that he was indeed Lord Vishnu. Later, when Ramachandra grew up, he married Sita Ji. As the eldest son born in the royal family, it was destined for Ramachandra to become king. However, before his coronation, he had to go into exile, accompanied by his wife Sita Ji and his brother Lakshman. Sita Ji was abducted by the wicked Ravan, who faced his own destruction and caused great sorrow to Ramachandra. For 12 years, Ramachandra searched for Sita Ji, fought a battle with Ravan, rescued her, and after completing his 14 years of exile, he returned to Ayodhya. 2 years after returning to Ayodhya, for some reason, Ramachandra sent the pregnant Sita Ji away from home. The husband and wife never reunited, but they always upheld their values. That is why Lord Ram is known as Maryada Purushottam. And this is the essence of the Ramcharitmanas. Viewers, this was the knowledge our religious leaders have shared about the Ramcharitmanas so far. The Ramcharitmanas is a very revered and sacred text for every Sanatani Hindu. Can it be that the essence of the Ramcharitmanas is merely a story of a king and queen? Absolutely not. Even though these religious leaders, who lack true spiritual knowledge, could not understand the essence of the Ramcharitmanas, now the mysteries that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj will reveal to you from the Ramcharitmanas will astonish you. Today, the true essence of the Ramcharitmanas is about to be unveiled before you, which has been hidden from all of you Sanatani Hindu brothers and sisters until now. Can you believe that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh worship another god?
We will prove to you from this very Ramcharitmanas that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh also worship another god, which will establish that even Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are devotees of a god.
Now we will show you the evidence from Sri Ramcharitmanas that clearly demonstrates there is a god greater than Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. In the Bal Khand, there is an instance where Manu and Satarupa begin meditating to attain the supreme god. Let's see which god Manu and Satarupa were worshipping. This is from Sri Ramcharitmanas, Bal Khand, couplet number 143, and in its quatrain number 3 it is written, Neti neti jehi bed nirupa, nijanand nirupadhi anupa, shambhu birancha Vishnu bhagvana, upajahi jasu ansate nana. The one whom the Vedas describe as Neti Neti, meaning not this, not that, who is the embodiment of bliss, without any attribute and incomparable, and from whose parts many Shivas, Brahmas, and Vishnus are manifested. The essence of this quatrain from the Ramcharitmanas is that the souls of countless Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv originate from the Sachidanand Gan, the Supreme God. The purpose of this is to convey that all souls originate from that Supreme God, from whom countless souls of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh have emerged. Therefore, it is also stated in the Ramcharitmanas that Ishwar Ansh Jeev Avinashi, meaning that the immortal Supreme God is the father of all the souls. All of us in the form of souls have originated from the Param Akshar Brahm, which includes Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh as well. Therefore, the soul is also imperishable because it originates from the immortal God. As long as the soul takes birth in these gross bodies through different parents, the body is perishable. However, the soul remains imperishable. Therefore, Kaal, known as Kshar Purush, and Durga and Brahma, Vishnu and Shiv, who arise from them, and all the living beings under them, are all perishable. That is why it is said that the soul never dies, as it is created by the complete God. Additionally, in the Ramcharitmanas, Bal Khand, couplet number 149, quatrain number 3 describes the origin of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh from Kal Brahma. Viewers, here is proof that the bodies of these three deities originated from Kal Brahm and goddess Durga through the act of procreation. This means that the souls of all three gods originated from the complete Supreme God, and later, Kal Brahm and goddess Durga are responsible for their birth in gross bodies. Viewers, please do not be confused that here in this quatrain, it is written that the three deities were born from Sachidanand Gan Brahm, the Supreme God, while in the other quatrain, it is written that they were born from Brahm. Here, the distinction between both quatrains has been clarified. Viewers, to understand in detail how all living beings originated in the form of souls from the Param Akshar Brahm, do watch the complete video of Creation of Universe, explained by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Viewers, after observing and understanding the quatrains of the Ramcharitmanas, no doubt remains. However, it is surprising that the leading Shankaracharyas of our Hindu religion still do not comprehend the true status of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Here is the chief Shankaracharya of Jagannath Puri, Sri Nishlachanda Saraswati Ji Maharaj. During one of his discourse gatherings, a child asked a very well-articulated question. First, listen to this child's question.
I am a 5th grade student and my question is, in the Shiv Puran, it is written that Mahadev is the greatest And in the Vishnu Puran, it is written that Vishnuji is the greatest. So, who is the greatest?
Viewers, undoubtedly, the child asked a very good question, but will Shankaracharya Ji's answer be equally good? Let's listen to Shankaracharya Ji's response.
That's a very good question. When the characteristics are the same, the unity of the object and the person is accepted. The characteristics that are mentioned in the Vedas about the Supreme God are the same as those found in the Puranas, including texts like the Skanda Upanishad. In the beginning of creation, the one Supreme God manifests itself in 5 forms. To perform the act of creation, he becomes Brahma and manifests as Brahma. He becomes Brahma and manifests as Brahma. To sustain the creation, he appears as Vishnu, specifically in the form of Sri Narayan. For the act of dissolution, he manifests as Shiv. To carry out the act of restraint, he expresses himself as the divine energy. To perform the act of grace, he reveals himself as Ganapati or Ganesh. In the Shiv Puran, Shiv is referred to as Brahm. The same characteristics are discussed in the Vishnu Puran regarding Vishnu, in the Devi Bhagavat regarding the goddess, in the Ganesh Puran regarding Ganesh, and in the Surya Puran regarding Surya. Thus, while the characteristics are the same, the forms are also the same. But all these incarnations are indeed manifestations of the complete Supreme God.
Viewers, did you hear that? After hearing Shankaracharya Ji's response, no one can definitively say who is greater among Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv, or who the Supreme God is. Perhaps that's why today we see the most helpless face of Hinduism reflected in these images. If these Shankaracharyas had given the correct answer to this question, they wouldn't have to face it in every gathering. But viewers, do not be disheartened. Today, we will provide evidence to explain why Brahma is considered God in the Brahma Puran, why Vishnu is considered God in the Vishnu Puran, and how Shiv is considered God in the Shiv Puran. Today, you will receive comprehensive knowledge of this entire mystery with supporting evidence. Listen to this special discourse by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj on this topic.
As these worshippers engaged in meditation and achieved a meditative state, Kal would deceive them by manifesting in the form of Vishnu to them. The sages and the great sages would then think, this deity Vishnu is the supreme God, and they would approach him declaring, you are the all-powerful, the omnipotent. I have seen you in my meditative state. You yourself are the supreme God. You have concealed yourself. This would lead Vishnu to become elated, thinking, I am indeed God. As 1, 2, 10, or 20 others echoed the same sentiment. Similarly, when someone was in deep meditation, he would manifest in the form of Brahma, granting them what they desired, certain powers and abilities, and then vanish in their meditative state. So what did they say? O Lord, they would say to Brahma, you yourself are the supreme God. You alone are the Almighty. We have witnessed you in our meditative state. You are omnipotent. You have concealed yourself. You are the creator of the universe. And when he would manifest as Shiv to someone, they would think that Shiv is indeed the creator of the universe who has concealed himself. Based on this, Brahma concluded, I am the creator. Everything originates from me, while Vishnu thought, I am the master of all. One day, Brahma went to Vishnu. Seeing Brahma, Vishnu did not stand up, knowing that he was greater and had created him, as he had heard from the sages. On the other hand, Brahma thought, I am his father. I am his creator, yet he does not show me respect. Brahma then said, Son, stand up. Look, I, your father, has come. To this, Vishnu replied, I am your father. You were born from my lotus navel. This led to a dispute between them. To resolve their argument, the Skal, Sadashiv, placed a luminous pillar in between them. Both of them stopped fighting and began to search for its end. The purport is that then the Skal manifested as Shiv and counseled Brahma and Vishnu, questioning them. Kal deceives them by saying, This is my manifest form, this pillar, while I am the formless one. I have now come before you in a manifest form. I am the God. Do not consider yourselves God. Now see, with Veshwar Samhita, this is that same Shiv Puran published by Gita Press Gorakhpur. And look, Brahma and Vishnu had a dispute among themselves, and in the midst of them, a pillar was erected. It is referred to as Ling or the Shiv Ling. Now, on page 25, let me show you. Brahma and Vishnu asked, Lord, what are the characteristics of the 5 actions, including creation, etc.? Please explain it to both of us. God Shiv said, this skull spoke, understanding my actions is very profound. Nevertheless, I am graciously explaining them to you. Now, look here. Look here at page 26. Sankshipt Shiv Puran. Let's go down. Now the skull, standing in the form of Shiv, is saying, Sons, you both, by performing penance, have pleased me, the Supreme God, and received 2 actions, creation and preservation. These are very dear to you. Now see, they are 2, Brahma and Vishnu. And then what he says? In a similar manner, my divine forms, Rudra and Maheshwar, received from me 2 other superior actions, destruction and dissolution. Thus, 2 are these Brahma and Vishnu, and 2 are these Rudra and Mahesh, and the speaker is the 5th one. This confirms that Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, and Mahesh are all children of this Kal, and he appoints his son Shiv as the chief of the 11 Rudras. Therefore, he also acquires the form of a Rudra. Actually, it is part of the divine play of Kal. So here, do not get confused upon hearing them to be 4, including Mahesh and Rudra. We need to understand that the one who is speaking is distinct from Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, and he is their father, from whom they were born. We had to distinctly prove these to be 4. So Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, as well as Rudra. They have made him a separate chief. He is separate. So Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are the sons of this Kal. This is what we had to prove. Their birth and Durga being their mother.
Viewers, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has proved from the sacred scriptures why Lord Brahma is described as all-powerful, that is, the greatest in the Brahm Puran, why Lord Vishnu is described as the greatest in the Vishnu Puran, and why Lord Shiv is described as the greatest in the Shiv Puran. Saint Rampal Ji Maharaj has proven that Kal Brahm showed visions of himself in the form of Brahma to those sages who were in a state of deep meditation, and those sages assumed that Brahma Ji is indeed the creator of all and the highest of all. These deities were born from him. Consequently, those sages praised Brahma in the Brahm Puran, declaring him the greatest. In a similar manner, this Kal Brahm, who is the father of these 3 deities, appeared to other sages as Lord Vishnu, who then considered Vishnu to be the greatest and acknowledged him as the creator of all in the Vishnu Puran. Likewise, those sages, to whom this Kal Brahm appeared in the form of Lord Shiv, accepted Shiv as the creator of all and extolled his greatness in the Shiv Puran, declaring Shiv to be the greatest. Today, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has proven from the Shiv Puran that just as Kal Brahm manifested in the form of Shiv to intervene in the conflict between the 2 deities, that is, Brahma and Vishnu, everyone believed that Shiv is the supreme god. However, here stands another Shankar, and Rudra is also present. This proves that this Kal Brahm himself manifests in the forms of these 3 deities. Viewers, if you are wondering why Kal Brahm does not appear directly before the sages, and instead manifests in the forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has elaborated on this mystery in the video titled Creation of Universe. We have provided the link in the description box for you to explore further. Nevertheless, for a brief information, you should refer to Gita, chapter 7, verses 24 and 25. In these verses, Kal Brahm states, "Foolish people do not know my anutam, that is, inferior character. In verse 25, he says, I remain hidden by my yogic power and do not appear before anyone. Viewers, the reason Kal Brahm created this rule is that he is the one who consumes all living beings in this world. In chapter 11, verse 32 of the Gita, he declares, I am Kaal, and at this moment I have appeared to consume all these warriors. Viewers, this is also evidenced in the Rig Ved, which mentions two gods, one who eats and one who does not. The god who eats is this Kal Brahm. To fulfill his own ends, this Kal Brahm enters Puranjaya and destroys the demons. And this very Kal Brahm enters Purakuts to annihilate the Gandharvas. He then manifests as Vishnu to the present sages, causing them to believe that Vishnu is performing these acts. However, it is actually Kal Brahm who, by entering the body of Purakuts, destroys the Gandharvas. Similarly, he enters Lord Krishna to impart the teachings of the Gita, preparing Arjuna for battle and causing the destruction of millions of warriors. Viewers, why does Kal Brahm consume living beings, and why he had to promise his wife Durga that he would no longer appear before anyone? To find out about this, do visit the link provided in the description box for the creation of universe, and watch Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj explain this mystery with evidence. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has established through sacred scriptures that none of these three deities is the Supreme Almighty. Rather, each of them is the Lord of one department within the three worlds. Brahma is responsible for creation, Vishnu for maintenance, and Shiv for destruction. These three deities are the lords of one department each in the heaven, the netherworld, and the earth, while Kal oversees many realms across 21 universes, with the dominion of these three deities limited to just the heaven, netherworld, and the earth. Indeed, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has provided a precise and scripturally validated answer to this child's question. See how both Brahma and Vishnu fell into the illusion of believing themselves to be gods, and how Kal Brahm clarified to them that you three deities are not Ish. Ish means God. In other words, they are not the sustainer and nurturer of everyone.
This is the Shiv Mahapuran, Part 1 with Hindi commentary by Pandit Jawala Prasad Ji Mishra, published by Kemraj Sri Krishna Das in Mumbai. In its Rudra Sanhita 1, chapters 6 to 10, it is written that, seeing the battle between the two, Kal, that is Brahm, who is the father of the three deities, assumes the form of his third son, Shiv, and appears on the battlefield. Kal Brahm, in the form of Shiv, approaches them and says, in ignorance, both of you have considered yourselves to be God. You are not Ish, you are not God. I have come to the battlefield to tell you this.
Viewers, in the Shiv Puran, it is clearly stated here that Kal Brahm, manifesting as Shiv, tells Brahma and Vishnu that, out of ignorance, you have considered yourselves to be Ish, God. This is truly astonishing. You are not Ish, you are not God. I have manifested here on the battlefield to dispel this illusion of yours. Viewers, this same misconception is prevalent among many religious leaders in Hinduism. While our scriptures make it clear that these three deities are not the supreme God, and that there exists another God above them. Viewers, now let's show you another proof that clearly indicates that these three deities are mortal, and that Goddess Durga is their mother.
This is the Sankship Devi Bhagavat. On its page 138, Lord Vishnu tells Goddess Durga, you are the pure form. This entire world is manifested from you. I, that is Vishnu, Brahma and Shankar, exist by your grace. We undergo Avirbhav, that is birth, and Tirobhav, that is death. Only you are eternal, the mother of the universe, Prakriti, and the primordial goddess. Viewers, keep this term Prakriti in mind. Prakriti is another name for Durga. We will further prove this to you from the Gita. Viewers, this excerpt makes it clear that the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv, are mortal, and their mother is Goddess Durga. Furthermore, Lord Shiv, also known as Shankar, tells Goddess Durga, O Goddess, if the highly fortunate Vishnu has originated from you, then Brahma, who is born after him, is also your child. Thus, I, Shankar, who performs tamaguni actions, am not your child. In other words, you are also the one who gave birth to me. He further states, O goddess, in the creation, sustenance, and destruction of this world, your gunas, qualities, are always capable. We, that is, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, are generated from those three gunas, qualities, and remain engaged in our duties according to the rules. Viewers, it has become clear here that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh themselves are the three gunas, qualities. Viewers, let's show you another proof that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are the three gunas, qualities, and that Durga is their mother. See, this is Srimad Devi Bhagwat with Hindi commentary, Part 1, Kemraj Shri Krishna. Das Publication, Bombay. In its third scand, page 11, Lord Shankar tells Goddess Durga, O Mother, if you are always compassionate towards us, then why did you endow me with Tamogun, grant Rajogun to Brahma, and why did you make Hari, Vishnuji, Satogun? You can also see the Sanskrit below. Yadi daya dharmna na sadambike, katham aham vihitcha tamoguna kamalja rajo guna sambhav suvihit kimo sato guno hari. Viewers, here, Lord Shankar is saying to Goddess Durga, O Mother, if you have compassion for us, then why have you made me Tamogun? Why have you made Brahma, who is born from a lotus, Rajogun? And why have you made Hari, that is, Vishnu, Satogun? This clearly shows that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are the three gunas, qualities. Viewers, let us show you another proof that will make it absolutely clear that these three deities themselves represent the three gunas. This is the Sankshipt Markandeya Puran, illustrated with bold font, published by Gita Press, Gorakhpur. On its page 131, it is written that Brahma is predominantly Rajogun, Rudra is predominantly Tamogun, and Vishnu, the protector of the universe, is predominantly Satogun. These are the three deities, and these are the three gunas. Viewers, the Markandeya Puran has clarified that these three deities are the three gunas. Now, let's see what is written in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita about those who worship these three gunas. This is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, published by Gita Press, Gorakhpur. In its chapter 7, verse 12, it is written that, understand the entities arising from Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun to be arising from me alone. It has been clarified in this verse that creation is happening from Rajogun Brahma, preservation from Satogun Vishnu, and destruction from Tamogun Shiv. In chapter 7, verse 13, it is written that this entire world is being deluded by these three gunas, qualities, Satvik, Rajas, and Tamas. Therefore, they do not know me who is beyond these three gunas. In chapter 7, verse 14, it is mentioned that this Maya, which is comprised of the three gunas, is very difficult to overcome. Those who transcend this Maya can cross over the material world. Viewers, the giver of the knowledge of Gita states that those worshippers who rise above the worship of these three gunas and instead worship me receive greater benefit. In chapter 7, verse 15, it is written that those whose knowledge has been taken away by this three gunamaya, that is, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, are of demonic nature. Such people, who are lowly among humans, engaged in corrupt actions, and foolish, do not, bhajate, worship me. Viewers, it's important to focus on the word bhajate here. To bhaj means to worship or show devotion. Here, the knowledge giver of Gita clearly states that those whose knowledge has been taken away by this three gunamaya, here the gunas refer directly to the three deities, because gunas or qualities are not worshipped. Here, the knowledge giver of Gita is saying, those whose knowledge has been taken away by this three gunamaya, in other words, by these three deities, meaning those who have believed these deities only to be the supreme God, those fools with demonic nature, that is, foolish people, do not even worship me.
Viewers, it has been established that even the top Shankaracharyas of our Hindu religion lack knowledge of their scriptures. They merely recite hearsay to the innocent public, creating a false sense of grandeur. The true knowledge has been presented to you by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, based on sacred scriptures. Viewers, it's not that the respected Shankaracharyas don't believe in the Puranas. Every individual in Hinduism, including Shankaracharyas themselves, considers the Puranas as the ultimate truth. Look at how the Shankaracharya affirms this.
So Shankaracharya ji, do you consider the Puranas to be true?
Absolutely true.
Do you also believe the Puranas to be true?
I do.
Do you consider the Puranas to be true?
They are true. Do you also consider the Puranas to be true?
The Puranas are true. How can we consider the Puranas to be false? For us, the Puranas are nothing but true.
Viewers, if the Puranas are the ultimate truth, and in the Puranas, the father of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh is Sadashiv, that is, Kal Brahm, and their mother is goddess Durga, then what knowledge is Shankaracharya ji imparting to this child? Viewers, why is the society being misled by portraying Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh as the Almighty? A lie is being told repeatedly by claiming that the three deities are one and the same entity, when in reality, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are three distinct deities, and all three are the children of goddess Durga and Kal Brahm. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has proven this through our sacred scriptures. Yet, many religious leaders provide teachings contrary to these texts, depriving society of true happiness and complete liberation. Today, besides Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, there is no other true saint on this earth. Such profound and divine knowledge that was hidden in our sacred texts has only been revealed and explained to the devotee community by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Viewers, it is clear from the Ramcharitmanas, Shiv Puran, Devi Bhagavat Puran, Markandeya Puran, and the Srimad Bhagavad Gita that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are all children of Kal Brahm and goddess Durga. However, everyone, in the form of soul, has originated from the Supreme God. Even goddess Durga and Kal Brahm, in the form of soul, have originated from the Supreme God. It is absolutely clear in this quatrain from the Ramcharitmanas that the one whom the Vedas describe as Neti Neti, who is the embodiment of bliss without any attribute and incomparable, and from whose parts many Shivas, Brahmas, and Vishnus are manifested. The one whom the Vedas describe as the Supreme God, that Supreme God is so powerful that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh have originated as souls from his parts. It is clear here that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv are not the Supreme God. The one from whose part these three deities originate is the true Supreme God. In the Ramcharitmanas, it is stated, Ishwaransh Jiva Vinashi, Chetanamal Sahaj Sukhrasi, meaning that because the soul is born from God, it is indestructible. The soul never dies. The Supreme God from whom the soul is born is also indestructible, conscious, pure, and inherently a source of bliss. However, all the bodies of living beings perish, which is also supported by Gita chapter 15, verse 16. The soul is called indestructible because, in the form of souls, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Durga, Kshar Purush, that is, the knowledge giver of Gita, and all living beings, have originated from that Supreme Almighty. Thus, the Ramcharitmanas states that numerous Brahmas, Vishnus, and Maheshs, in the form of souls, are born from that Sachidanand Gan Brahm, that Supreme God, from whom all living beings, in the form of souls, have originated, is referred to in Gita chapter 15 verse 17 as the Uttam Purush. The same God has been referred to as the sustainer and nurturer of the three worlds and the true immortal God. In Gita chapter 4 verses 5 and 9, and in Gita chapter 2 verse 12, and in Gita chapter 10 verse 2, the knowledge giver of the Gita, Kshar Purush, has declared himself to be perishable and has accepted that, Arjun, you and I have had several births, which you do not know, but I know. This proves that Kshar Purush, that is, the knowledge giver of Gita, who is the father of the physical bodies of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, is also not imperishable. His body also perishes. Now let us also clarify from Gita, chapter 15, verse 16. This verse states that there are two Purush, Kshar Purush and Akshar Purush. The bodies of all living beings under them are perishable, meaning they are subject to destruction, but the soul of all beings is imperishable. This is why in Ramcharitmanas it is said, Ishwaransh Jiva Vinashi, Chetanamal Sahaj Sukhrasi, meaning that because the soul is a part of the Supreme God, it never perishes. In Gita chapter 15 verse 17, the Supreme God is referred to as the Uttam Purush and imperishable because the body of the Uttam Purush, or the Supreme God, is also imperishable. This Uttam Purush is called God because he is completely imperishable and the master of all souls, whose body never undergoes destruction. In the world of this Uttam Purush, there is no form of suffering. He does not inflict pain on anyone, only gives joy. Therefore, this Supreme God is also referred to as the Sukh Ki Rashi, source of happiness, in Ramcharitmanas. We are living in the world of Kal, the knowledge giver of Gita. The owner of this world cannot be referred to as the Supreme God because no one is happy in this world. Therefore, throughout the Gita, the knowledge giver of Gita does not refer to himself as the Supreme God, only that Uttam Purush is called the Supreme God and the imperishable God. Viewers, wherever the term Supreme God is mentioned in the Gita, it pertains to this Uttam Purush, that is, Sachidanand Gan Brahm, meaning the body of the Supreme God never perishes. That is why it is written in this verse that the Uttam Purush is someone else who is truly imperishable. He is referred to as the Supreme God. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is firmly guiding everyone towards the Adi Sanatani Bhakti, so that by doing Adi Sanatani Bhakti, we all may attain that imperishable world of the Uttam Purush, where every soul that reaches there receives an imperishable body. Due to having an imperishable body, there is no rebirth or death in that eternal place. After reaching there, the seeker never returns to this Kal's world. This is called complete liberation. In Gita, chapter 18, verse 62, the knowledge giver of Gita is referring to this imperishable world. This is that Shashvat, that is, eternal place, Satlok. After reaching where, the seeker does not return to this world, meaning the world of Brahmkshar Purush, the knowledge giver of Gita, who is the father of the physical bodies of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Only after going to that eternal abode, Satlok, does the soul receive an imperishable body, which never perishes. In that eternal abode, or Satlok, there is no aging. The body remains perpetually youthful, and no one's body dies. There, the soul receives an immortal body forever. This is called complete liberation. Because the knowledge giver of Gita said in chapter 18, verse 62, O Arjun, in every respect, go in the refuge of that Supreme God. By His grace, you will attain supreme peace and the eternal supreme abode. Then, in chapter 15, verse 4, it is stated that after receiving true knowledge from a Tattvadarshi saint, one should search for that supreme state of God, after reaching where the seeker never returns to the world, meaning they achieve complete liberation. Viewers, that eternal supreme abode is indeed this Satlok, which Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has explained in great detail in the video titled Creation of Universe. We have provided the link to this video in the description box. Whereas, so-called religious leaders mislead the devotee community by proclaiming these three deities as the Supreme God, promoting incorrect way of worship. In fact, it is clear from the Ramcharitmanas that they are not the Supreme God. Manu and Satrupa practiced Adi Sanatani worship, that is, they used to remember the Sachidanand Brahm described in the Bal Khand of the Ramcharitmanas. The Gita also encourages the worship of this Sachidanand Brahm. In Gita chapter 17, verse 23, the mantra Om Tat Sat is mentioned as a means to attain this Sachidanand Brahm. This mantra is symbolic. In the Satyug, these mantras were chanted. Over time, sages, as per their own interpretations, began arbitrary practices, leading to the decline of Sanatani worship. Gita, chapter 4, verse 34, advises obtaining the correct information of this mantra from a Tattvadarshi saint. This very Sachidanand Brahm is referred to as the Uttam Purush in Gita, chapter 15, verse 17, where it is said that this Uttam Purush enters the three worlds and sustains everyone. In Gita chapter 8, verse 3, this Sachidanand Brahm is called the Param Akshar Brahm. The glory of this Sachidanand Brahm is described in Gita chapter 8, verses 8, 9, and 10. Even in Gita chapter 18, verse 62, it is advised to go in the refuge of this Sachidanand Brahm. The knowledge giver of Gita, in chapter 18, verse 64, declares this very Sachidanand Brahm to be his Isht Dev, revered deity. Viewers, even in Gita chapter 15, verse 4, the knowledge giver of Gita admits that after acquiring knowledge from the Tattvadarshi, that is, the enlightened saint mentioned in chapter 4, verse 34, one should seek that supreme state of God, after going where the seeker never returns to this world again. Worship the supreme God from whom the expansion of this world-like tree has arisen, meaning the one who created the entire creation. I also in the refuge of that supreme God. Viewers, like the Gita, this quatrain from the Ramcharitmanas also establishes that the supreme God is not Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, or Brahm. The supreme God is the Sachidanand Brahm. For complete information about who the Sachidanand Brahm is, please watch the video Complete Creation of Universe, the link for which we have provided in the description box. In Balkand, couplet number 145, quatrain number 1, it is written, Sunu sevak sur taru suradhenu, Bidhi hari har bandhit pad renu, Sevat sulabh sakal sukhdayak, Pranatapal sachrachar nayak. O Lord, listen, you are like the Kalpavriksha, wish-fulfilling tree, and Kamdhenu, wish-fulfilling cow, for your devotees, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv, also worship the dust of your feet. You are easily accessible through service and are the giver of all happiness. You are the protector of those who seek refuge and the Lord of both the animate and inanimate. This quatrain clearly shows that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh worship another supreme God, the Sachidanand Brahm. In Balkand, couplet number 149, quatrain number 3 says, Tumha Brahmadi Janak Jagaswami, Brahma Sakal Ur Antarjami. You are the Father, that is, the originator, of Brahma and others, the Lord of the universe, and the knower of all hearts, Brahm. Viewers, this verse explains that Kal Brahm is the father of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv, meaning that the physical bodies of all living beings in the realms governed by Kal Brahm originate from Kal Brahm and goddess Durga. Viewers, do not be confused here by the fact that in the Ramcharitmanas, in Baal Khand, couplet 143, quatrain 3, it is written that many Brahmas, Vishnus, and Shivas are born from that Sachidanand Brahm, the eternal, blissful, supreme God. While in Baal Khand, couplet 149, quatrain 3, it says that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv are born from Brahm. Why is there this difference? Viewers, this quatrain refers to the one who gave birth to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv, and this quatrain talks about the Sachidanand Gan Brahm, the supreme God, who created the souls of Kal Brahm, goddess Durga, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and all the living beings. All beings present in the 21 universes, including Kal Brahm, are parts of this supreme God. The master of all souls is Param Akshar Brahm. This includes Kal, that is Brahm, Durga, that is this Jagmula, the mother of the universe, as well as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and all the beings in the world. Whereas in this quatrain, it has been described that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are born from Brahm and Durga.
Viewers, the Brahm mentioned in this verse is the same Brahm who is the father of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv. This Brahm is referred to as the Kshar Purush in the Gita, chapter 15, verse 16. Viewers, Kshar means perishable, as you can also see in the translation of the Gita. This is the same point that this Kal Brahm acknowledges in Gita chapter 2, verse 12, Gita chapter 4, verses 5 and 9, and Gita chapter 10, verse 2. He says, Arjun, both you and I have had many births, meaning both you and I undergo birth and death, implying that I am also mortal. In other words, I am the Kshar Brahm. Kshar Brahm means a perishable lord. In Gita chapter 8, verse 13, the worship of this Brahm is mentioned using the single syllable Om. In Gita chapter 14, verse 3, this Brahm, who is the giver of the Gita's knowledge, refers to his wife as Mool Prakriti, or Durga. Further, in Gita chapter 14, verse 4, this Brahm has said, this Mool Prakriti, also known as Durga, is the mother of all living beings, and I, Brahm, am the father who implants the seed in the womb of this Prakriti, or Durga.
Furthermore, in the Gita chapter 14, verse 5, this same Brahm says, O Arjun, the three gunas, qualities, Satgun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, produced from Prakriti, bind the soul to the body. We have already proved from the Markandeya Puran that Brahma is Rajogun, Shankar is Tamogun, and Vishnu is Satogun. These are the three deities, and these alone are the three gunas, qualities. Viewers, this proves that these three deities, Satogun Vishnu, Rajogun Brahma, and Tamogun Shiv, are born from Prakriti, that is, Durga. Viewers, who is this Brahm? How did the three deities originate from Durga and Kal? Who is the Supreme God?
To gain complete information, please watch Complete Creation of Universe, the link for which is provided in the description box.
In Balkand, couplet 147, quatrain 1, it is written, Pad Rajiv Varni Nahi Jahi, Muni Man Madhup Basahi, Jainama Bam Bhag Shobhati Anukula, Adi Shakti Chavi Nidhi Jagmula, in whom the honeybees of the sages' minds reside. The description of those lotus-like feet of the Lord cannot be expressed. On the left side of the Lord, always favorably disposed, the embodiment of beauty, the primordial cause of the world, Adi Shakti Sri Janki Ji, is seated. Viewers, the translator here interpreted the term Adi Shakti Jagmula as Sri Janki, meaning Sita, while the original text clearly states Adi Shakti Chavi Nidhi Jagmula. This Jagmula refers to goddess Durga, but the translators, keeping Sri Ram in focus, interpreted Jagmula here as Sri Janki, that is, Sita Ji. Here, Adi Shakti Jagmula refers to goddess Durga or Prakriti Devi. Viewers, this couplet clearly indicates that goddess Durga is seated on the left side of Kal Brahm. It is a religious belief that the wife should sit on the left side of her husband. This description highlights Durga, or the Adi Shakti, sitting on the left side of Brahm. Viewers, now let's come to quatrain number 2. In Balkand, couplet number 147, quatrain number 2 states, Jasu ans upjahi gun khani aganit lachi uma brahmani. Viewers, this line also describes the glory of goddess Durga. It states that, from whose part, that is, from Durga's part, countless Lakshmi, Parvati, and Brahmani, the powers of the three deities, meaning the wives of the three deities, are created. Prakriti Bilas Jasu Jaghoi, meaning that it is through the gestures of goddess Durga that the creation of the universe occurs. Now, in this couplet, the line that states Ram Bam Dis Sita Soi, here, there is description of Sita Ji sitting on the left side of Sri Ram. Viewers, here the mention of Sita Ji is only given as an example. It is said that just as Sita Ji sits on the left side of Sri Ram Ji, similarly, goddess Durga also sits on the left side of Brahm. In the previous quatrain, it is mentioned that Durga Ji sits on the left side of Brahm, and in this line it is stated that Sita Ji sits on the left side of Ram. In the same way, Savitri Ji sits on the left side of Brahma, and Parvati Ji sits on the left side of Shiv. Similarly, Sita Ji, meaning Lakshmi Ji, sits on the left side of Sri Ram, meaning Vishnu. Just as Sri Ram is an incarnation of Sri Vishnu, meaning Vishnu himself is Sri Ram, similarly, Sita Ji is an incarnation of Lakshmi, meaning Sita Ji is Lakshmi. Sita Ji cannot be called Durga because Sita Ji, or Lakshmi, originates from Durga Ji, or Jagmula. It is clearly stated in this quatrain of the Ramcharitmanas that from that Adi Shakti, Jagmula, many Lakshmis, Parvatis, and Brahmanis are born. This proves that Sita Ji is not Jagmula. In this quatrain, there is description of Adi Shakti, that is, goddess Durga, sitting on the left side of Brahm. And this quatrain explains that just as Sita Ji sits on the left side of Sri Ram, similarly, goddess Durga also sits on the left side of Brahm. Viewers, Sita Ji is visibly seen sitting on the left side of Sri Ram, but Durga Ji is not visibly seen sitting on the left side of Kal Brahm. Tulsidas Ji had divine vision, and therefore he could see that just as Sita Ji sits on the left side of Sri Ram, in the same way, Durga Ji sits on the left side of Brahm. Hence, viewers should not be confused by the translation into thinking that Sita Ji is Adi Shakti, or Jagmula. Adi Shakti is goddess Durga, and it is from this goddess Durga that Lakshmi, Parvati, and Brahmani, also known as Savitri, have originated. These two quatrains of the Ramcharitmanas have made it absolutely clear. It is worth considering that Sita Ji herself was an incarnation of Lakshmi, and quatrain number 2 states that Lakshmi was born from the primordial Prakriti. This also proves that the Jagmula mentioned in Balkand, couplet number 147, quatrain number 1, is not Sita Ji but rather goddess Durga. It is from goddess Durga that Savitri, Lakshmi, and Parvati were born. How did these 3 goddesses originate from Durga? To understand this, please refer to the Creation of Universe, explained by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, the link to which has been provided in the description box. Viewers, the primordial causal Adi Shakti being referred to in this quatrain is the same primordial Adi Shakti Prakriti, that is Durga, whom the giver of the knowledge of the Gita, Brahm, has indicated to be his wife in Gita chapter 14 verse 3. Further in Gita chapter 14 verse 4, this same Brahm has stated, "This primordial Prakriti, that is Durga, is the mother of all beings, and I, Brahm, am the father who plants the seed in the womb of this Prakriti, that is Durga." Further, in Gita, chapter 14, verse 5, this same Brahm has said, "O Arjun, Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, these 3 gunas, qualities, born from Prakriti, bind the imperishable soul to the body." Viewers, this proves that these 3 deities, Satgun Vishnu, Rajogun Brahma, and Tamogun Shiv, are born from Prakriti, meaning Durga. We have already established from the Markandeya Puran that Rajogun is Brahma, Tamogun is Shankar, and Satogun is Vishnu. These are the 3 deities and these are the 3 gunas, qualities. Viewers, we find the same evidence in the Devi Bhagwat Puran. Viewers, this is Devi Bhagwat Puran, 3rd Skand, where Vishnu praises goddess Durga, saying, "You are a pure form, and this entire universe is illuminated by you. I, Brahma, and Shankar exist solely by your grace. We undergo birth and death. Only you are eternal, the mother of the world, Prakriti, and the eternal goddess." Lord Shankar says, "O goddess, if the highly fortunate Vishnu has originated from you, then Brahma, who was born afterward, is also your child. Then how am I, Shankar, who performs Tamaguni acts, not your child? In other words, you are the one who gave birth to me as well. You are highly skilled in creating the world. You play and cease according to your will. In the creation, sustenance, and destruction of this world, your gunas means qualities are always capable. We, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, who are born from those 3 gunas means qualities, act according to the rules." Viewers, the Devi Bhagwat Puran has made it clear that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are the 3 gunas means qualities, meaning they are the 3 deities. These 3 gods are perishable, and Durga is their mother, who is also referred to as Prakriti. In Baal Kand, couplet number 147, quatrain number 2, it is written, "Jasu ansh upaj gun khani, aganit lakshi uma brahmani," meaning, from whose part countless Lakshmi, Parvati, and Brahmani, the powers of the 3 deities, are born, and by whose mere brow gesture the creation of the world takes place. This quatrain refers to the Mool Prakriti Durga and her husband, Brahm. It will be interesting to know how Savitri, Lakshmi, and Parvati were created. To gain complete knowledge, please watch the complete creation of the universe, the link to which has been provided in the description box. Viewers, just as Tulsidas Ji wrote the Ramcharitmanas with his divine vision in Vikrami Samvat, 1631, 1574 AD, many thousands of years after Lord Ram's time, and it is accepted by the entire Hindu community today. Similarly, God Kabir gave divine vision to Sant Garib Das Ji Maharaj, causing him to write down the Suksham Ved, also known as the Amar Granth, in Vikrami Samvat, 1787, 1730 AD. God Kabir himself had this divine knowledge inscribed in the Kabir Sagar. The teachings written in the Sukshma Ved are also validated because they align with the established scriptures. Garib Das Ji has stated in the Sukshma Ved, Rajgun Brahma Tamgun Shankar, Satgun Vishnu Kahave Re, Chauthe Pad Ka Bhed Nyara, Koi Birla Sadhu Pave Re. Its meaning is that the three deities, Brahma is Rajogun, Vishnu is Satogun, and Shankar is Tamogun. Their father is the fourth, who, by assuming the form of these three, manages the 14 realms within a single universe. The secret of this fourth can only be understood by a Tattvadarshi, enlightened saint. Kabir Sahib has said, "Those who abandon the worship of the four and focus on the fifth, they will reach me," meaning that whoever worships the fifth, the Param Akshar Brahm, beyond these four, attains complete liberation. The proof you found in the Ramcharitmanas is explained in greater detail in the Sukshma Ved. Viewers, it is clear from the Ramcharitmanas that Lord Krishna, also known as Vishnu, is not the supreme God. But why are our religious leaders providing knowledge that contradicts these sacred scriptures? Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has provided evidence from this holy scripture of Hinduism, proving that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh themselves worship the supreme God. Brahm, also known as Kal, is their father, and Durga is their mother. Viewers, let's once again read this quatrain from the Ramcharitmanas, where it is stated that the three deities worship that Sachidanand Brahm, that is, the supreme God. See, in Balkand, couplet number 145, quatrain number 1, it is written, Sunu sevak sur taru suradhenu, Bidhi hari har bandhit pad renu, Sevat sulabh sakal sukhdayak, Pranatapal sachrachar nayak. O Lord, listen, you are like the Kalpavriksha, wish-fulfilling tree, and Kamdhenu, wish-fulfilling cow, for your devotees, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv, also worship the dust of your feet. You are easily accessible through service and are the giver of all happiness. You are the protector of those who seek refuge and the Lord of both the animate and inanimate. This quatrain clearly shows that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh worship another supreme God, the Sachidanand Brahm. Viewers, as you've seen, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiv worship the supreme God. Viewers, you may be wondering, who taught these deities this way of worship? In other words, who is the one who revealed this way of worship to the three deities? Who is their guru? Viewers, this doubt has been resolved by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj through the Sukshma Ved. To understand this fully, please watch this video.
अनंत कोट ब्रह्मांड का एक रति नहीं भार, सतगुरु पुरुष कबीर हैं ये कुल के सिरजनहार। अयोध्या दशरथ ना होते और नहीं रामचंद्र अवतारे, रावण गर्भ न जन्मिया वो लंका का सिकदार। एक कबीर पुरुष अनादि और सकल है बाद। One God Kabir is eternal, while all others are perishable. रचनहार जगत गुरु ये लीला अगम अगाध। आगम संदेशा आदि है ये होते सूर न चंद। Garibdas Ji is saying, there was a time when even the sun and the moon did not exist. I will narrate the story of that time. शिव वृंच पतियां भय ये बारू जेते अंधे। गरीब सिंधु शब्द में सैले कर फिर आए ब्रह्मा पास। Garibdas Ji says, God Kabir told. Garibdas Ji says, God Kabir told, I had given mantras to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv. They became my disciples. What is he saying? शब्द सिंधु में सैले कर फिर आए ब्रह्मा पासे, मंत्र नाम सुनाइया ये चेरा की नादासे। God Kabir gave Om mantra to Brahma. God Kabir gave Om mantra to Brahma. Brahma chants Om mantra. And then God Kabir told Brahma, I will give you another mantra, Satyanam, when I will see your determination. And when God went again, Kal misled Brahmaji, saying he knows nothing, he is lying. This changed Brahmaji's mindset. Brahmaji did not show further interest, so God did not give him the next mantra. What is being said further? एक शब्द से सब है ये ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश, कच मचकूरम गति ये सेंस पुनि दुन शेष. He continues. अक्षीर समुंदर हम गए, शेष सुनाया नाम, रम राम अगाध धुन, शेष सेंस बल जाऊं. हम दाता दानी शुरू और ब्रह्मा दीना नाम, शब्द स्वरूपी उतरे सत शब्द निर्वाण. हम बैरागी ब्रह्म पद सन्यासी महादेव. What does God say? हम बैरागी ब्रह्म पद और सन्यासी महादेव, और सो हम नाम दिया शिव जी को, वो करे हमारी सेव. श्वेत भूमि का हम गए द विष्णु विशंबर नाथ. I went to the world of this Vishnu. His world is white in color. Now, some fake white realms have been created resembling the Satlok. The world of Vishnu is also white in color, but the whiteness there is much dimmer compared to what exists in Satlok. So, God says, Svet bhumi ka hum gaye da Vishnu Vishambar Nath, Hariyam Hira Naam De Ashtakamal Dal Swate.
Viewers, the verses of the Amar Granth that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has recited have made it absolutely clear that when God Kabir first came to this world, he met Brahma first. Brahma Ji listened to the knowledge of God Kabir with great interest and received the Om mantra from God Kabir. Similarly, God Kabir came to Shankar Ji and imparted knowledge to him. Shankar Ji received the Soham mantra from God Kabir. After that, God Kabir visited Vishnu Ji and gave him the Harim Nam. Likewise, God Kabir also met Durga Ji and Ganesh Ji. He gave Kilim mantra to Ganesh Ji and Shreem mantra to Durga Ji. God Kabir revealed his glory and knowledge to all of them and gave each of them a mantra, as these deities are also the children of God Kabir, because in the eyes of the Father, all children are equal. Supreme God Kabir wishes to see everyone happy. Therefore, to take these deities in his refuge, God Kabir bestowed each of these deity with a mantra, so that these deities could continue chanting these mantras and remain happy. These deities themselves also chant the mantra given by God Kabir, so the worshipper who chants these mantras quickly receives benefits from these deities. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has elaborated on this topic in a very simple and authentic manner. Listen to it.
Now, like the Supreme Word says, I gave each of these three a mantra for the first time so that I could observe their determination. If they had some faith in me, I will give them the complete course. So he says, Ham Shvet Bhumi ka hum gaye tha Vishnu Vishambar Nath aur Hariyam Hira Naam De or Asht Kamal Dal Swat. Where Vishnu resides in the navel lotus, it has 8 petals, and he was given the mantra Haryam. Now he chants the Haryam mantra, and we invoke him by this same mantra, Haryam. We also chant the same mantra. So he gets attracted to it, thinking they're connected to that supreme saint. So he's drawn to it. He's compelled. Now, pious souls, look how compassionate the Supreme God is. Just like when you transfer something via Bluetooth from one mobile to another, then the Bluetooth of both the mobiles need to be open. In the same way, the Supreme God has already opened of those deities, and now you need to open yours. That power will automatically begin to flow within you as well. He has already opened theirs. The point is that the mantras given to these deities by the Lord are the mantras they chant. This is not to be understood as their worship. These mantras are meant for you to receive benefits from them. You are chanting the same mantras today, so they are compelled to respond. They are helpless. Because the Lord has already opened their Bluetooth. He opened theirs first and is now opening yours. So chant these mantras of God as much as you can and take advantage.
Viewers, just as Tulsidas wrote the Ramcharitmanas through his divine vision, millions of years after the life of Ramchandra Ji in Vikrami Samvat, 1631, 1574 CE, which is accepted by the entire Hindu community today. Similarly, God Kabir, by granting divine vision to Sant Garib Das Ji Maharaj, made him write the Suksham Ved, that is, the Amar Granth, in Vikrami Samvat 1787-1730 CE. God Kabir himself had this divine knowledge inscribed in the Kabir Sagar. All the things written in the Suksham Ved are also validated because they correspond with all the authenticated scriptures. Garib Das Ji said in the Suksham Ved, Rajgun Brahma Tamgun Shankar Satgun Vishnu kahave re, Chauthe pad ka bhed nyara, koi birla sadhu pave re. The meaning is that the three deities, Shri Brahma is Rajogun, Shri Vishnu is Satogun, and Shri Shankar is Tamogun. Their father is the fourth, who, taking the form of all these three, oversees the operation of the 14 worlds in one Brahmand. Even the secret of this fourth one is only known to a Tattvadarshi saint. God Kabir has said that, Charon chhod jo pancham ko dhyave, keh Kabir va hum tak aave. It means that whoever worships the fifth, the Param Akshar Brahm, above these four, attains complete liberation.
The proofs you found in the Ramcharitmanas are present in detail in the Suksham Ved.
Viewers, just as Supreme God Kabir imparted the Adi Sanatani worship to Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, Ganesh, and Durga Ji, the same Adi Sanatani worship was also given to Manu and Satrupa in the Satyug. Manu and Satrupa used to perform Adi Sanatan worship after taking initiation from God Kabir, who had appeared in Satyug in the form of Satsukrit. The Gita also provides the same evidence, in which it is written, Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdeshaha, Brahmanaha Trividhaha Smritaha, Brahmana Tena Vedaha Cha Yagyaha Cha Vihita Pura. Its meaning is that during the early period of creation, that is, Satyug, the Brahmin sages chanted the mantras Om Tat Sat, which are referred to as the mantras of the Sachidanand Gan Brahm. Later, Kal Brahm provided the knowledge of all four Vedas to Manu and Satrupa, and instructed them to chant the Om mantra. Misguided by Kal Brahm, Manu and Satrupa refused to accept the knowledge given by Kabir Dev, who had come in the form of Satsukrit, and they began to call him Vamdev. Its complete information has been provided in detail in the video, Complete Creation of Universe, the link for which is provided in the description box. Let us first show you the evidence that will clarify that Manu and Satrupa chanted the mantras of the Adi Sanatani worship received from God Kabir, who had appeared in Satsukrit form. Pay attention to Ramcharitmanas, Balkand, couplet number 143, which states, Dwadash Akshar Mantra Puni Japahi Sahit Anurag, Basudev Pad Pankarahu Dampati Man Atilag. It translates to that Manu and Satrupa chanted the Dwadash Akshar mantra with love. Viewers, here, it is mentioned about chanting a mantra, while the translator has taken Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai as the Dwadash Akshar and included it in the translation. Religious leaders in Hinduism are referring to this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai as the Dwadash, that is, the 12-letter mantra. Look here.
The mantra I am going to talk about today is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. And why is this mantra called the 12-letter mantra? Because if you count each letter in it, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that is, there are 12 letters, so the letters in this mantra are 12 in total, which is why it is called the Dwadash Akshar mantra.
So in this way, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai has been defined as the Dwadash Akshar, that is, 12-letter mantra. The translator has written, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. Now if we count the letters, the first letter is Om, which has one letter. Likewise, Namo, total letters, 2, Bhagavate, in total letters, 4, and Vasudevai, in total letters, in 5. Adding these together gives a total of 12 letters. Viewers, but these are not those 12 letters. While we hear phrases like Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Namaha Shivaya, Kabir Devaya Namaha, and Purna Paramatmane Namaha, etc., spoken as salutations before praising the Lord, these are not mantras. Viewers, in this context, let us show you a video of Premanand Ji, where he also acknowledges that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai or Om Krishna Devaya Namah, etc. are not mantras. They are not for chanting.
Maharshi, you mentioned the mantra Krishna Vasudevai in the sermon. How should it be chanted?
This is more of a prayer, an invocation. It is not meant for chanting.
Viewers, the truth is that Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Krishnaya Vasudevai, and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai are not mantras at all. These are merely phrases of salutation, spoken for offering respect. This is also confirmed by the well-known storyteller, Pradeep Mishra Ji, who also believes that Om Namah Shivaya is simply a phrase of salutation.
When we chant the Panchakshara mantra, Namah Shivaya, we are paying respect to Lord Shankar. Similarly, when we chant the Shatakshara mantra Om Namah Shivaya, we are offering our salutation to Lord Shiv.
Viewers, now let's listen to the thoughts of storyteller Pandit Giri Bapuji, who also states that Om Namah Shivaya is not a mantra. It is merely a phrase of salutation. He has even explained the meaning of Om Namah Shivaya. Listen in.
What is the meaning of Om Namah Shivaya? Om means the entire universe, the countless universes. Nama means salutation. Shiv means welfare. Shivai refers to Shiv and Shiva. O Lord Shiv and Shiva, we offer our salutation. May you bring welfare to the entire universe. This is the meaning of this mantra.
Om Namah Shivaya is not a mantra. It is simply a prayer, merely a phrase expressed in salutation, as has been acknowledged by these storytellers and religious leaders in their discourses. Viewers, just as it has been established that Om Namah Shivaya is not a mantra, it is merely a phrase of salutation. Similarly, this Dwadash Akshar is not the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. This is also a phrase of salutation. Due to the translator's lack of true knowledge regarding the 12 letters and the absence of true spiritual knowledge, they have incorrectly defined the Dwadash Akshar mantra, whereas in the original text, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai is not written anywhere. If the Dwadash Akshar mantra were Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai, Tulsidas Ji would have certainly included it in this quatrain of Ramcharitmanas. However, Tulsidas Ji did not refer to this phrase of salutation as Dwadash Akshar mantra anywhere. This clearly indicates that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai is not the Dwadash Akshar mantra. Which is the Dwadash Akshar mantra? Let us find out. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has explained it in detail with evidence. The true translation of this couplet is that Manu and Satrupa, at the beginning of Satyug, chanted the Dwadash Akshar mantras with great passion, that is, devotion. That king and queen had developed complete faith in the supreme God, that is, Vasudev. Viewers, we will also explain the meaning of Vasudev in detail. First, let's find out that the 12-letter mantras which Manu and Satrupa were chanting. What are those 12-letter mantras? Viewers, the 12-letter mantras described by the translator here are not the ones that Manu and Satrupa chanted. According to the translator and current religious leaders, Lord Krishna is referred to as Vasudev, which is why they have arbitrarily written the 12-letter mantra as Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. However, Lord Krishna manifested in the Dwapar Yuga, while Manu and Satrapa existed in the Satyug. Let us explain to you in detail what those Dwadash Akshar mantra, that is, 12-letter mantras, are that Manu and Satrapa chanted. Viewers, first, let us share with you the thoughts of two leading Shankaracharyas of Hinduism. One is Sri Nishchalananda Ji, and the other is Sri Madhvacharya Ji. First, let us listen to the viewpoints of Sri Nishchalananda Ji.
The one supreme God expresses himself in 5 forms at the beginning of creation. To perform the act of creation, he makes himself Brahma, that is, he manifests himself as Brahma. To perform the act of preservation, to fulfill the task of protection, he himself appears as Vishnu, as Sriman Narayan. To perform the act of destruction, he manifests as Shiv. To perform the act of control, he expresses himself in the form of Shakti. To perform the act of grace, he manifests as Ganapati or Ganesha.
Sri Nishalanand Ji explained that in the world of Kal Brahm, these 5 principal deities manage all the arrangements of Kal Brahm. These 5 deities are primarily worshipped in Hinduism. Now, let us also share with you the thoughts of Shankaracharya Madhvacharya Ji, in which he also admits that these 5 deities are primarily worshipped in Hinduism. Listen to the viewpoints of Madhvacharya Ji.
Who is your venerable deity?
A venerable deity can be anyone. We all worship the 5 deities. There are 5 main deities.
So, viewers, you have seen that both Shankaracharyas have explained that there is a provision for worship of these 5 deities in Hinduism. These 5 deities are as follows: Brahma Ji, Vishnu Ji, Shiv Ji, Goddess Durga Ji, and Ganesh Ji. Viewers, the Shankaracharyas are absolutely correct in stating that these 5 deities manage the arrangements of the realm of Kal Brahm. These deities reside in the lotuses formed within each human body, which is why they hold a special place in devotional practice. Viewers, let us now describe the true status of these deities to you. It is ironic that some religious leaders do not even acknowledge the existence of these deities, while others regard them as the ultimate God or supreme God. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has accurately and thoroughly clarified the status of these deities. Viewers, until now, our spiritual leaders had told us that there is no God above Lord Krishna, that is, Vishnu Ji, Brahma Ji, and Shiv Ji. These are the masters of the entire universe. Viewers, first of all, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are not the masters of the entire universe, nor are they the rulers of the 3 worlds. Rather, they are officials of one department each within the 3 worlds. You know very well that Brahma Ji is in charge of the Rajogun department, Vishnu Ji oversees the Satogun department, and Shiv Ji is responsible for the Tamogun department. Just as a state has a chief minister as well as various other ministers. Imagine a state with 23 districts, where each district has its own minister for different departments. That minister is responsible for his department within the state, but he cannot be called the master of the entire state. Similarly, in this universe-like state, there are 14 worlds. Consider them to be districts. And among those 14 districts, in these 3 districts, meaning in 3 worlds, heaven, netherworld, and earth, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are the masters of one department each. Meaning, in these 3 worlds, Brahma Ji is in charge of Rajogun department, which is responsible for the creation of living beings. Vishnu Ji is in charge of Satogun department, which is responsible for the sustenance of living beings. And Shiv Ji is in charge of Tamogun department, which is responsible for the destruction of living beings. The father of these 3 deities, referred to as Brahm, also known as Kshar Purush, consider him to be the chief minister of this universe, that is, state. Viewers, this Brahm, Kshar Purush, that is, the chief minister, can keep any of these departments with him at any time. In other words, all these departments fall under this Brahm, because he is also the owner of the universe, that is, the state. In this way, this Brahm is the master over these 3 deities. Therefore, this Kal Brahm, Kshar Purush, by taking the forms of these 3 deities, manages the order of this universe. This very Kal Brahm, sometimes manifesting as Vishnu, sometimes as Shiv, and at other times as Brahma, manages the order of the 14 worlds present in this universe. Whereas Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh manage the administration of one department each within the 3 worlds. Our spiritual leaders, due to misunderstanding, considering Vishnu to be the supreme God, had developed this notion that Vishnu himself becomes Shiv, Vishnu himself becomes Brahma. Similarly, they sometimes developed this belief about Shiv, that Shiv himself becomes Brahma, Shiv himself becomes Vishnu. They stated that these 3 deities are one and the same, without any distinction. However, this confusion is the result of Kal Brahm's actions, who has vowed not to appear directly before anyone. Its evidence is found in Gita chapter 7 verses 24 and 25, where Kal Brahm himself admits this, and by entering Sri Krishna's body, informs Arjun that these foolish people are unaware of my anutam, that is inferior rule. that I never appear before anyone in my true form. I remain hidden by my yogic power. Therefore, I, the unmanifested one, am considered to have taken a human form as Krishna. It is precisely because of this inferior rule of his. He performs all actions in the 14 worlds by assuming the forms of his sons. When and why did Kal Brahm made the vow to remain unmanifested? Only Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has given the true knowledge about this with evidence. Please make sure to watch the video on Complete Creation of Universe, narrated by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, the link to which we have provided in the description box. Just as when a chief minister signs a file related to a department's work, meaning they are directly overseeing that department's activities, they do so in the capacity of a minister, even though they are indeed the chief minister. At that moment, they are focusing on the work of that specific department. Similarly, when this Brahm needs to perform tasks at the level of Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiv, he assumes their form and appears there. Next comes the Akshar Purush, who can be understood as analogous to a deputy prime minister. After that comes, at the highest position, Param Akshar Brahm. Think of him as the prime minister. He is the ruler of all provinces and can intervene in any region of any state, meaning he has overall control over all states and all people. If someone describes a department minister to be the prime minister, it shows their lack of understanding. If someone says that a provincial minister holds no significance, they are also extremely foolish. Therefore, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, fully understanding the positions of all deities up to the Param Akshar Brahm, never disrespects any deity, that is, a minister, nor does he misrepresent a minister as the prime minister, meaning he does not claim Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh to be the supreme god, thereby disrespecting the actual prime minister, i.e., the complete supreme god. Such mistakes can only be made by those lacking this true spiritual knowledge. Viewers, we once again urge you that to gain comprehensive knowledge about all these deities and the supreme god, please do watch the video on the Complete Creation of Universe by clicking the link in the description box. Viewers, while you may not pay attention to the discourses of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, you cannot overlook your sacred scriptures. All these profound secrets have been revealed by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj from our holy books. Viewers, to exit the world of Kal Brahm and obtain all types of comforts, one has to worship these 5 deities. Viewers, to exit the world of Kal Brahm and obtain all types of comforts, one has to worship these 5 deities. Viewers, to receive these benefits from them, you will need to chant the Dwadash Akshar mantra associated with their worship. But unfortunately, none of these Shankaracharyas, nor the storytellers, religious leaders, and preachers of the Hindu religion have knowledge of the Dwadash Akshar mantra, which is the true mantra for the worship of these 5 deities. All Shankaracharyas and all these storytellers, religious leaders, and preachers in Hindu religion consider this 12-letter mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai, to be the primary mantra for these deities, believing that chanting this mantra will lead to liberation. If we were to accept the claims of these Shankaracharya and preachers of Hindu religion as true, then this mantra cannot be associated with the worship of the 5 deities, as it is specifically meant for Vasudev, whom all Shankaracharyas identify as Lord Krishna or Vishnu, whereas the Shankaracharya themselves acknowledge that in Hindu religion there are main 5 deities who manage all the arrangements of Kal Brahm, and these very 5 deities provide all the benefits in this world. Viewers, we are about to reveal the true 12-letter mantras for the worship of these 5 deities, which, in the present time, have been revealed to the world solely by Tattvadarshi Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. So let's see which 12-letter mantras Manu and Satrupa chanted for these 5 deities. Viewers, Manu and Satarupa chanted the true mantras of the 5 deities in the early Satyug, which Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj also imparts to his disciples during their first initiation. The 12-letter mantras for these 5 deities, which Manu and Satrupa chanted, are Om, Kilim, Harim, Shrim, Soham. Viewers, in this way, when these letters are combined, they form a total of 12 letters. Viewers, these 12 letters make a single mantra, and a worshipper has to chant this single mantra 108 times daily. This is the same 12-letter mantra that Manu and Satarupa chanted. These are the mantras of the first stage of the Adi Sanatani worship. These are the very mantras that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj provides to his disciples. Viewers, you might be wondering why the word Om is counted as a single letter, even though it doesn't seem so when spoken or heard. To resolve this doubt, we need to refer to Gita chapter 8, verse 13, where it is written in Sanskrit, Om iti ekaksharam. Its translation states that Om, this single letter, has to be chanted for Brahm. Viewers, it becomes clear from the Gita that Om is counted as a single letter. Similarly, the Shiv Puran also confirms here that Pranav became one letter Om. In the same way, in this quatrain of Ramcharitmanas, the translator has counted Om as one letter, which is why it amounts to 12 letters in total. Viewers, it is now clear that according to the scriptures, the word Om is counted as a single letter. Viewers, no devotee should have any doubt as to whether these words are correct or these words are correct. As you can see in this particular quatrain from Ramcharitmanas, that here the word Achar is written. Here this word Achar has been written in a saintly language. If we were to write this word in its purest form, it will be written like this. There is neither the letter Cha nor Cha in it, but both these words imply the word Akshar. The translator has interpreted the term Dwadas Achchar as Dwadash Akshar, meaning he has written the word Achchar as Akshar, which is absolutely correct. In the same way, these mantras may seem different from a grammatical perspective, but they still signify that they are the original mantras of these deities. Similarly, there is another word. Look at this verse from Ramcharitmanas. There is word Lachi in it, which has been written like this in saintly language. If we were to purify this word, it would become Lakshmi. Likewise, in this couplet of Ramcharitmanas, the word Oru is written, which has been written from the perspective of saintly language. But the translator has interpreted this Auru as Or during translation. Viewers, both the words convey the same meaning. In the same way, the translator has written Lachi as Lakshmi, meaning Lachi has been written from the perspective of saintly language, and Lakshmi from a grammatical perspective. But both the words signify the goddess, Lakshmi. In the same way, just as here, Kiliam and Kilim, both the words signify the original mantra of Lord Ganesh. Therefore, we urge all devotees not to get confused by the different forms in which the same mantra might be written or pronounced. Viewers, these are the 12-letter mantras, Dwadash, Akshar mantra, of the first stage of Adi Sanatani worship. These mantras can only be properly chanted after receiving them from a complete sant. A Tattvadarshi Sant, enlightened Sant, is the only one who can guide on how to chant these mantras correctly. You may wonder if there is further scriptural evidence for these mantras. Viewers, it has already been established that these 12-letter mantras, which are part of the Adi Sanatani worship, were originally given to Manu and Satrupa by Supreme God Kabir, who appeared as Sat Sukrit at the beginning of the Satyug. However, over time, this form of worship gradually faded away. Viewers, these 12-letter mantras were given in the Kalyug, approximately 600 years ago, by Supreme God Kabir to his disciples, the proof of which can be found in Kabir Shabdavali on page 77, where there is a hymn of God Kabir. Karnainu Didar, Mahal mein pyara hai. God Kabir has clearly mentioned these 12-letter mantras in this hymn. The speech is, Karnainu Didar, Mahal mein pyara hai. Then it is further written, Mool kamal dal chatur bakhano, kaling jap lal rang mano, Dev Ganesh taha ropa thano, ridh siddh chavar dhoolara hai, Swad chakra shat dal vistaro, Brahma savitri roop niharo, Ulat nagini ka sirmaro, taha shabd onkara hai. Nabhi asht kamal dal sajha, Set singhasan Vishnu viraja, Hiring jap tasu mukh gaja, Lakshmi Shiv adhara hai. द्वादश कमल हृदय के माही, जग गौरी शिव ध्यान लगाई, सो हम शब्द तहा धुन छाई, गण करे जय जयकारा है, सोड़स दल कमल कंठ के माही, ते ही मध्य बसे अविद्या बाई, हरि हर ब्रह्मा चवर ढुराई, जहां श्रृंग नाम उच्चारा है. Viewers, in this hymn of God Kabir, those 12-letter mantras have been clearly mentioned that Manu and Satrupa used to chant at the beginning of creation. Here, in Sant language, the words have been written in a different manner. Viewers, the Sants, keeping their local language in mind, have written these 12-letter mantras in Sant language in this manner. From a grammatical perspective, these 12-letter mantras are written like this, but all these words clearly indicate the same 12-letter mantras. Let us provide you with another proof. About 600 years ago, Supreme God Kabir got these 12-letter mantras inscribed. After that, these 12-letter mantras were once again lost. Then, about 300 years ago, God Kabir reappeared and imparted these 12-letter mantras to Garib Das Ji Maharaj in Chudani. For evidence, look at the Amar Granth composed by Garib Das Ji Maharaj, where in the Brahma Kala Ang and Mukti Mudra Ang, these 12-letter mantras are clearly written. See, this is Brahma Kala Ang, in which these 12-letter mantras are clearly written. And see this is Mukti Mudra Ang, in which these 12-letter mantras, Dwadash Akshar mantras, are clearly written. These are the same 12-letter mantras that God Kabir gave to Nanak Ji, and Nanak Ji himself chanted them. God Kabir also gave Baba Nanak Ji the true mantra, Satnam, of the second stage of spiritual practice that Baba Nanak Ji never passed on to others for chanting. Baba Nanak Ji disclosed these 12-letter mantras, which are given in the first stage, only to the successors seated on the Guru's seat in the Guru tradition. The evidence of this can be found in the authentic Sikh scripture, Pentis Akhari, where these 12-letter mantras are written with accuracy. Look here, Om, Harim, Shrim, Kilim, and Soham are clearly written. At present, these 12-letter mantras and the proper method to chant them is only available with Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is the only authorized sant for providing these mantras. If any devotee attempts to chant these mantras on their own, they will not gain any benefit. Viewers, just as if someone tries to create a passport by looking at the photo of a genuine passport or attempts to obtain a passport by getting it signed by an unauthorized person, it would be a futile effort that could be very harmful to them. Similarly, the method of chanting these mantras for attaining the Supreme God can only be received from an authorized sant. Currently, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is the only sant authorized to provide these mantras. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has been granting these 12-letter mantras during the first stage of initiation to his disciples since 1994. Viewers, these 12-letter mantras are the true mantras for the worship of the 5 deities, whereas many religious leaders are misleading you by claiming that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai is the 12-letter mantra, and they themselves are also misguided. They are chanting the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai, considering it to be the true mantra of Lord Krishna, while even Shankaracharyas acknowledge that the worship of 5 deities has been prescribed in Hindu religion. Some religious leaders are only chanting the phrase of salutation to Lord Krishna, while others are only chanting the phrase of salutation to Lord Shiv, whereas, on the other hand, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is explaining the true method of worship of the 5 deities, including Lord Krishna, that is, Lord Vishnu. These religious leaders have made you chant phrases of salutation like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai and Om Namah Shivaya throughout your life, but devotees have gained no benefit. The reason is that these are not true mantras. Your calls are not reaching these deities at all. Viewers, let's try to understand this through an example. Suppose you want to gain something from a minister. To get that benefit, you either need to meet him in person in his office or call him on his mobile. Now, if someone gives you a wrong number or the number of a regular person instead of the minister, you won't be able to get any benefit from that number. Similarly, these religious leaders have given you the wrong numbers in the form of mantras for these deities, and you've been dialing those numbers your whole life without any benefit. Until you dial the correct number for their worship, you won't be able to achieve anything from them. The correct numbers of these deities, meaning the true mantras for worship, are with Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. All verified saints have chanted these very mantras for the worship of the 5 deities, which Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is giving. How crucial these 12-letter mantras for the worship of the 5 deities are for the welfare of the world, let us find out. The Bhavishya Mallika Puran states that by 2032, the true Sanatan Dharma will be established worldwide. God Kabir has given a similar indication in the Kabir Sagar that the entire world will adopt true devotion and the Adi Sanatan Dharma will be established globally. Viewers, it is this method of worship of the first stage of Adi Sanatani worship which will play a vital role in establishing Sanatan Dharma in the world. Viewers, today, all beings in the world may be divided into different religions, but the physical structure of all humans, both male and female, is the same, and the lotuses within them are also alike. Each seeker must pass through these lotuses to attain God and achieve liberation. By chanting this 12-syllable mantra, the lotuses, chakras, open naturally. There is no need for forceful meditation, Hatha Yoga. Previously, sages tried to open these lotuses through rigorous meditation, while the easier and superior method is the one explained by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. This method was also taught by God Kabir to his disciples, Dharmdas and Garibdas, as well as to Baba Nanak and many other great souls whom God Kabir personally met. Through this method, these great souls attained salvation, and they documented this 12-letter mantra in their texts, evidence of which Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has shown and verified. Viewers, it is also a matter to consider that if worship is practiced according to the current religious leaders, then world welfare is impossible, because the practices being taught in the Muslim religion are not mentioned in Hinduism and other religions. This means that the liberation of Hindu society and people of other religions is impossible. Similarly, the practices that Hindu leaders advocate are not being taught in Islam or other religions, meaning that the people of the Muslim community and others cannot attain salvation. Viewers, the truth is that none of the religious leaders of any faith possess the true 12-letter mantra for global welfare and complete salvation. Only Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is the sole saint in the world who offers verified devotional practice from all religious texts for the entire human society. It is through this devotional practice that the welfare of the entire human society can be achieved, just as Kabirji granted salvation to the virtuous souls of all religions by imparting this true devotion. In the same way, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is making religious people from every faith eligible for salvation by providing them with this authentic devotional practice. These 5 deities are equally present in the lotuses formed in the bodies of all living beings in the world. This 12-letter mantra is the only mantra for chanting to please these 5 deities and obtain complete benefits. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj instructs his disciples to chant this 12-letter mantra at least 108 times a day. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is the only saint in the world offering this guidance. When all beings in the world practice the chanting of this 12-letter mantra, prosperity and brotherhood will prevail everywhere. The entire world will unite, and the Adi Sanatan Dharma will be established globally. Suffering will be eliminated from human life forever, as the collective power of these 5 deities operates within this 12-letter mantra. Through the tireless efforts of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, this scriptural knowledge is rapidly spreading worldwide. This devotional practice of the first stage of the Adi Sanatani worship provides the benefits gained from the 5 deities and serves as a lifeline for the entire devotee community. The Adi Sanatani worship consists of 3 stages. The first stage involves the mantras for the worship of these 5 deities. After this, the second stage, also known as Sanatani worship, includes the mantra Om Tat, where Tat is a symbolic mantra. After this, the third stage is called the Adi Sanatani worship. Its mantras are Om Tat Sat, where Tat and Sat are also symbolic. You can understand these 3 stages of devotional practice as follows. The first stage, the worship of the 5 deities, is akin to primary education, completing up to 5th grade, which offers only partial benefits in life. However, this first stage of practice is crucial in the path of devotion. Just as one cannot progress to 10th or 12th grade without completing the 5th grade, similarly, one cannot proceed to the 2nd and 3rd stages of devotional practice without completing the worship of the 5 deities in the first stage. The second stage of devotional practice, known as Sanatani worship, involves the worship of the Ksharpurush and Aksharpurush, mentioned in Gita chapter 15 verse 16. You can consider this as higher education, similar to completing up to 10th grade, which offers more benefits than primary education. The third stage of devotional practice, which is called the Adi Sanatani worship, is also mentioned in Gita chapter 17 verse 23. This is the worship of Paramakshar Brahm, mentioned in Gita chapter 8 verse 3. You can think of this as the highest education, which provides all happiness and benefits. Viewers, only Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj completes the devotional practice of the spiritual path in this way in 3 stages. You may also have the doubt here as to why this 12-letter mantra is called a single mantra when it actually consists of the 5 mantras of different deities. Viewers, in Gita chapter 17, verse 23, the mantra Om Tat Sat also appears to be 3 mantras. But about these 3 mantras, it is written in Gita that Om Tat Sat, this 3 type of mantra is said to be of Satchidanand Ghan Brahm. This means that in the 3rd stage of Adi Sanatani worship, there is this one mantra. These 3 mantras combine to form one mantra, which Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj's disciples refer to as the 3rd Nam, that is, Saranam. Similarly, in the first stage of devotional practice, the 12-letter mantra that is obtained, Om Kilyam, Haryam, Shriyam and Soham together are referred to as one mantra, that is the first or Pratham Nam. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj and his disciples always call these 12 letters as the Pratham Nam. Similarly, in the 2nd stage of devotional practice, the mantra Om and Tat are referred to as one mantra, that is, the 2nd Nam or Satnam. After receiving these 2 mantras, the followers of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj say that they have received the 2nd Nam, that is, Satnam. In other words, even though there are 2 mantras, it is referred to as a single Nam, which is called Satnam. Likewise, in the 3rd stage of worship, the mantras Om Tat Sat are also together considered as one mantra, which the followers of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj call Sarnam. That is, they call it the 3rd Nam. Therefore, viewers should not have any doubt here as to why these 12-letter mantras are referred to as a single mantra. Viewers, this 12-letter mantra is referred to as a single Nam. In this manner, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj provides his disciples with the 1st Nam, 2nd Nam, and the 3rd Nam for the 3 stages of Sanatani worship. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has been giving these mantras for the worship of the 5 deities and Sanatani worship since 1994, and these mantras of the Adi Sanatani worship since 1997 to all his disciples. Before 1997, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj only gave the 2-stage devotional practice to his disciples. In 1997, God Kabir himself ordered Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj to impart this devotional practice of the 3rd stage to his disciples. Viewers, it is natural for you to wonder whether Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj's revered guru did not order him to impart these mantras given in the 3rd stage of the Adi Sanatani worship to his disciples. Viewers, we would like to clarify that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj's revered guru did indeed provide him with these 3 mantras of the Adi Sanatani worship. However, when would Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj provide these mantras to all disciples? This order was to be given by God Kabir himself, because God Kabir had already determined in Kabir Sagar that After 5,505 years of Kal Yuga have passed, I will come myself and spread the true knowledge, that is, the Adi Sanatani worship, to every person. This makes it clear that Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj received these mantras from his guru, but the permission to impart them to the devotee community was given by the Supreme God Kabir himself. Viewers, as Kabir Ji said, after 5,505 years of Kal Yuga have passed, I will come myself and spread the true path of devotion to every person. Viewers, the complete reflection of Kabir Ji is visible in Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj.
मम संत मुझे जान मेरा ही स्वरूपम, ये मत सोचना कि मैं ही आऊंगा, ये दास उसी का स्वरूप भेज रखा है, यानी अपना कुत्ता भेज रखा है, इसको कबीर परमात्मा ही जानो.
In this, devotees should not have the slightest doubt that God Kabir himself is performing his divine play in the form of Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Just as 600 years ago, the so-called scholars of that time did not accept Kabir Ji's knowledge and opposed him, we see a similar situation with Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj today. Just as Kabir Ji fearlessly and carefreely spread his spiritual knowledge to every person, in the same way, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, in the form of God Kabir, is continuously advancing the mission of public welfare that he started 600 years ago. Viewers, the extraordinary and authenticated knowledge revealed by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj can only be done by Supreme God Kabir himself. It depends on your faith and wisdom whether you see Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj as a supreme saint sent by Kabir Ji or as Kabir Ji himself. But one thing is clear. In both cases, humanity is being benefited. Since then, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has been providing spiritual practice to his disciples and completing it in 3 stages. Viewers, the proof of the 3-stage spiritual practice provided by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj can be found in Kabir Sagar in the chapter Amar Mool on page 265. It is written, Prathami Shishya Hue Jo Ai, Ta Kahan Pante Hu Tum Bhai. This refers to the initiation of the first stage. Then it says, Jab dekho tum dridhta jnana, ta kahan kahun shabd parwana. This refers to the initiation of the second stage. Further, it is written, Shabd mahi jab nischay aave, ta kahan gyan agad sunave. This refers to the initiation of the third stage. This clearly shows that Supreme God Kabir himself explained the method of giving initiation through 3 stages. Viewers, you might also have a doubt here about how Kabir Ji, who appeared only 600 years ago, provided the Adi Sanatani worship to Manu and Satarupa. Viewers, there is evidence in the Sukshma Ved that God Kabir manifests in each of the 4 eras under different names and provides the method of Adi Sanatani worship to his beloved souls. Now, let's take a look at the special discourse by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj on this subject.
God Kabir lived in Banaras, Kashi, in the form of a dhanak, that is, a weaver. He is the immortal God. He is Satpurush. He is the creator of countless universes. He is also the creator of all of us souls. He is creator of all. In each era, he performs different divine acts. And in every era, he takes on different names here. For instance, in Satyug, the name of God is Satsukrit. At that time, there are plenty of sage traditions, the saints and sages who guide the devotees on the path of devotion. So, at that time, God became famous by the name of sage Satsukrit. In Treta Yuga, he performed the same divine act by assuming the form of an infant. A childless Brahmin couple took him, and he became famous by the name of sage Munindra. In Dwapar Yuga, God was taken by a childless couple from the Valmiki family. In Dwapar Yuga, his name was Karnamay, and he became renowned by the name of Valmiki. Not that Valmiki who existed in Satyug, he was different. After him, a lineage formed under the name Valmiki. In Kali Yuga, the Supreme God appears under his real name as Kabir, or Kabir Dev, or Kabir Sahib. God himself also states, Satyug mein sat sukrit keh tera, Treta naam munindar mera, Dwapar mein karuna mein kahaya, Kali Yug naam Kabir dharaya.
This makes it clear that Kabirji has manifested in different names in all 4 eras and has provided the true devotional practice of the Adi Sanatani worship, just as God Kabir, in the form of Sat Sukrit, met Manu and Satrupa. In the same way, in different eras, in different forms, he also met all these great souls. Today, the speeches of all these saints stand as proof that Kabir Sahib is the Supreme God. In one of his verses, Garib Das Ji Maharaj has said, "Hum Sultani Nanak Tare, Dadu ko updesh diya, Jaat Julaha Bhed nahi paya, Kashi Mahe Kabir hua." In this way, spiritual education is completed in 3 stages, through which a person attains all comforts in this life and also achieves complete salvation. The hidden secrets of Ramcharitmanas have been revealed only by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Today, in the story of the decline of Sanatani worship, as described by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, by unveiling these mysteries to the devotee society, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has proven that the only true Tattvadarshi Sant is Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj. Now, let's explain the correct meaning of the word Vasudev mentioned in this couplet. Currently, many religious leaders have assumed that Vasudev refers to Lord Krishna. Viewers, let us first show you evidence from the Markandeya Puran that Lord Krishna, alias Lord Vishnu, is not Vasudev. Rather, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiv are the 3 gunas, qualities, and we will also show you what the Gita says about those who worship these 3 gunas. First, let's look at the proof from the Markandeya Puran. This is Sankshipt Markandeya Puran, with illustrations, bold font, published by Gita Press, Gorakhpur. On its page 131, it is written that Brahma is dominated by Rajogun, Rudra is dominated by Tamogun, and Vishnu, the preserver of the world, is dominated by Satogun. These are the 3 deities, and they are the 3 gunas. Viewers, the Markandeya Puran makes it clear that these 3 deities only are the 3 gunas. Now let's see what the Srimad Devi Bhagavad Gita says about those who worship these 3 gunas. This is the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, published by Gita Press, Gorakhpur. In its chapter 7, verse 12, it is written, "The emotions arising from Satgun, those arising from Rajogun, and Tamagun should be known to be derived from me alone." This verse clarifies that Rajogun, that is, Brahma, leads to creation, Satogun, that is, Vishnu, leads to preservation, and Tamagun, that is, Shiv, brings about destruction. In chapter 7, verse 13, it is mentioned that this entire world is enchanted by the 3 types of emotions, Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamas, as a result of the gunas. Therefore, people do not know me, who is beyond these 3 gunas. In chapter 7, verse 14, it is written, "This 3-gun Maya is very difficult to overcome. Those who transcend this Maya can cross over the world." Viewers, the Gita states that those who do not worship these 3 gunas, but instead elevate themselves by worshiping me, gain greater benefits. Viewers, in Gita chapter 7, verse 15, the giver of the knowledge of Gita says, "O Arjun, those whose knowledge has been obscured by the Maya, that is Trigunmayi Maya, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, such people with demonic nature who are lowest among men, evildoers, fools, do not worship me," meaning they do even worship me, that is Kal Brahm. They remain entangled in this Trigunmayi Maya. In this same chapter 7, verses 16 and 17, it is said that, "O Arjun, those who perform virtuous deeds, Artharthi, seeker of worldly possessions, Art, the afflicted, Jigyasu, the seeker of knowledge, and Gyani, knowledgeable, such 4 types of devout men worship me. Among them, the Gyani, that is, the knowledgeable devotee who is always established with oneness in me, one with exclusive devotion, is the best. Because I am very dear to the Gyani, who knows me in reality, and that Gyani is very dear to me." Viewers, the noteworthy point is that in the next verse, Gita chapter 7, verse 18, the knowledge giver of the Gita says, "All these noble, knowledgeable souls attain my lower or inferior status." Viewers, here in this verse, the knowledge giver of Gita has referred to his worship as Anuttamam, meaning he has described his worship to be inferior. Viewers, here the translator has incorrectly interpreted Anuttamam as the best, which is entirely wrong. Anuttam means inferior or bad. Viewers, if the worship of the three deities and the worship of the knowledge giver of Gita is inferior, and if Sri Krishna, that is, Vishnu, is not Vasudev, then who is the real Vasudev? Let's find out from Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj who Vasudev truly is.
In Gita chapter 7, verse 19, it is said, "In the last birth of many births, these Gyanvan, meaning knowledgeable souls, Mam Prapaddate, Mam means me, Prapaddate means worship, they worship me, and
और वासुदेव सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभ ओए होए."
Such a great soul who tells this is very difficult to find. Tell what?
कि वासुदेव सर्वमिति,
meaning Vasudev is everything. He alone is the destroyer of sins. He alone is the giver of salvation. He alone is the creator of the entire creation. He alone is the supreme God. And through his worship, complete salvation will be attained. A saint who tells this is very rare to find, Arjun.
वासुदेव सर्वमिति.
Now they believe Vasudev to be Shri Krishna. It was Shri Krishna's father whose name was Vasudev. And in the Vedas, Vasudev is a name that signifies the glory of that supreme God. It is a metaphorical name for the Lord. That God is said to be Vasudev, who has control over everything, the controller of all, the master of all. He is the master of the lineage. Just as Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh are each masters of one guna. In one universe, Brahma is in charge of the Rajogun department, Vishnu of the Satogun department, and Shankar of the Tamogun department. These three deities are only masters of the three worlds, earth, netherworld, and heaven. That's it. In one universe, there are many other worlds within this universe. Apart from these, there are 14 more worlds over which their father is the controller of one universe. And there are 21 such universes of this Brahm. So, the master of 21 universes is only this Brahm, Shar Purush. He is not Vasudev. He does not have control over everything. And on the second number is Akshar Purush. He is the master of only 700 quadrillion universes. In Gita chapter 15, verses 16 and 17, three Purushs are mentioned. Kshar Purush, Akshar Purush, and Param Akshar Purush. So the second Akshar Purush is only the master of 700 quadrillion universes. He has only this much power. He is not the master of all. He is not Vasudev. The third, Param Akshar Brahm. Param Akshar Purush, Sat Purush. We call him Sat Purush in saint language. We call him Shabd Swarupi Ram, Akal Murat. He is the master of countless universes. He created Kshar Purush and his worlds, Akshar Purush and his worlds, and gave these to them. And apart from them, there are countless worlds. He is the master of all. He is indeed Vasudev. In Yajurved chapter 5, verse 32, it has been clarified that Ushigasi, who is the giver of ultimate peace, he is Kabir Anghariasi, the destroyer of sins. He is God Kabir, Kabirdev, and Bambhari, the enemy of bondage. He alone is the liberator from bondages. And Rit Dhama, he resides in Satlok. In Gita chapter 7, verse 19, the giver of the knowledge of Gita states that the one who reveals that Vasudev is everything. That Mahatma is very rare to find. Now see how decisive the knowledge given in the Gita is. First, he stated that those who are limited to Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, their knowledge has been carried away. He has clearly described them as fools. Regarding his own worship, he says that knowledgeable souls engage in my worship. He has even explained about it, that they worship me and the resulting attainment from it is inferior. Now he is saying that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanman Mam Prapadate, meaning that even those wise beings who worship me are doing so in their last birth after countless births. That is, they worship me, Brahm. Otherwise, they remain engaged in the lower forms of worship, chanting Jai Ganesh Deva, or reciting Hanuman Chalisa and tales of fasts. He says that they remain entangled in these. In their final birth, some wise soul engages in my worship, the worship of Brahm. And then he says that the Mahatma who imparts the worship of the Vasudev, the complete God, is very hard to find. And I am the one today in this world imparting the worship of that Vasudev.
Viewers, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has clearly explained in a simple and authenticated manner that the true Vasudev is Param Akshar Brahm, that is, Sachidanand Gan Brahm. And to attain this very Vasudev are these Dwadash Akshar mantras, which Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has been imparting to his disciples since 1994 during the first stage of initiation. This three-stage devotional practice was originally received by Manu and Satrupa from god Kabir, who came in the form of Satsukrit, and they used to worship the Sachidanand Gan Brahm. Later, Kal Brahm, that is the giver of knowledge of the Gita, provided Manu with the knowledge of the four Vedas. Its evidence can be found in Gita chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. Subsequently, Manu and Satrapa abandoned the Adi Sanatani worship and began the Sanatani worship, focusing solely on the chanting of Om mantra and austerities. This is corroborated in the Ramcharitmanas, Balkand, couplet 143, quatrain 1, which states, Karahi ahar sak phalkanda, Sumirahi Brahma Sachidananda, Puni Hari Hetu Karan Tap Lage, Bari Adhar Mool Phal Tyage. They used to eat vegetables, fruits, and tubers, and used to remember Sachidanand Gan Brahma. Then they began to perform penance for Sri Hari and abandoning roots and fruits, only lived on water. Viewers, it is clearly written here that Manu and Satarupa initially worshipped the Sachidanand Brahm, that is, the Supreme God, and chanted the symbolic mantras mentioned in Gita, chapter 17, verse 23, Om Tat Sat. After that, they began to depend only on fruit as their diet, chanting the mantra, Om, and engaging in penance. After that, they even gave up eating fruit. Abandoning the Adi Sanatani worship, they began performing the Sanatani worship. After this, the subsequent sages even stopped chanting the mantra, Om, and began only practicing austerity. Viewers, it is clear from this couplet in the Ramcharitmanas that Manu and Satarupa had abandoned the Adi Sanatani worship and begun practicing Sanatani worship. After this, Sanatani worship continued through Ikshwaku and then Nabhiraj. From Rishabdev onwards, Sanatani worship came to an end. Manu considered the four Vedas to be given by God and, based on them, assigned special significance to the mantra Om, and also began performing yagyas, which are referred to as the practice of Sanatan Dharma. This practice and knowledge, according to Gita chapter 4, verses 1 and 2, was received by Suryadev. Suryadev passed it on to his son Manu, and Swayambhu Manu taught it to his son Ikshwaku. After Ikshwaku, this knowledge was acquired by some royal sages known as Raj Rishis, who practiced spirituality while ruling. This Sanatan Dharma was prevalent until the Ikshwaku descendant, royal sage Nabhiraj, after which it was lost. According to the Encyclopedia of Jainism, Tirthankar Rishabdev was the son of the last Kulkar Nabhiraj. Those who adhered to the family's traditions were called Kulkar. This also indicates that Rishabdev abandoned the traditions of his lineage and engaged in arbitrary conduct, which is why he is not referred to as a Kulkar. The last Kulkar who practiced spirituality within the confines of family traditions was King Nabhiraj, which is why he is called the last Kulkar, because after Nabhiraj, arbitrary conduct began with Rishabdev. Viewers, as evidenced in the Vedas, the Supreme God comes to this earthly realm according to his divine law and meets his virtuous souls, providing them with true worship and the right path. In accordance with this law, God Kabir also came to this earth and met Rishabdev, just as God Kabir met Sant Garib Das Ji, Guru Nanak Ji, Dadu Dayal Ji, and Maluk Das Ji. God Kabir explained to Rishabdev, "The method of worship you are following is not mentioned in the scriptures. You are abandoning the scriptural method and acting according to your own will, which will bring you no benefit." However, Rishabdev did not accept God Kabir's words and remained steadfast in his arbitrary practices. There is evidence of this in the Sukshma Ved as well. In Sukshma Ved, on page 364, it is written, गरीब ऋषभ देव के आइया, कभी नामे करतार, नौ योगेश्वर में रम्या, जनक विदेही उद्धार. This means that the supreme God who is referred to as Kavi in the Vedas is the same God Kabir who met Rishabh Dev, the 9 Yogeshwars, and he also met Janak Videhi. Among these, only Janak Videhi accepted the spiritual practice that God Kabir preached. He followed the spiritual practice imparted by God Kabir only for a while, which is why his next birth was as Guru Nanak. Later, God Kabir met Guru Nanak at the Bay River, imparting to him the knowledge of the ultimate truth and the mantra of salvation, thereby granting him liberation. God Kabir also told Rishabh Dev, the immortal God referred to as Kavi in the Vedas, that Kavi, that is Kabir Dev, is none other than me. I am the immortal supreme God. You are all misled by the web of Kaal, which is why you do not recognize me, and, failing to understand your scriptures correctly, are engaging in arbitrary practices that prevent you from attaining me. You should receive true knowledge from me to free yourself from this Kal's world, that is, the cycle of birth and death. However, Rishabh Dev did not heed the words of God Kabir and remained steadfast in his practices contrary to the scriptures. These speeches written in the Sukshma Ved are entirely true, just as the Ramcharitmanas, composed by Tulsidas, was recorded millions of years after the life of Lord Ram. Tulsidas compiled the events of that Treta Yuga, i.e. the Ramayana, by witnessing them through his divine vision, as if watching a video, and this is accepted by the entire Hindu community today. In the same way, God Kabir appeared before Garib Das Ji from Chudani and granted him divine vision, through which Garib Das Ji could perceive all past, present, and future events, including those yet to occur. The divine vision that the Saint Garib Das Ji received from God Kabir had no limits. Because of this divine vision, Maharaj Garib Das Ji recorded the profound secrets of the Gita, the 4 Vedas, the Quran, the Puranas, the Bible, and all other holy scriptures in the Sukshma Ved, which can only be understood and explained by a Tattvadarshi Sant as described in the Gita. For this reason, only Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has been able to comprehend these teachings, and today he is inspiring the entire world to practice the Adi Sanatani worship. Despite God Kabir's extensive efforts to guide him, Rishabh Dev, the son of Nabi Raj from the Ikshvaku dynasty, did not accept the divine knowledge of God Kabir. Later, in the same Suryavansh lineage, Lord Sri Ram was born. In the Jain religious text, Jain Sanskriti Kosh, Encyclopedia of Jainism, authored and published by Professor Bhag Chandra Jain Bhaskar, New Extension Area 13, Tukaram Chal Sadar, Nagpur, Maharashtra. On its page 175, it is written, Rishabdev's son, Marichi, also known as Bharat's son, is considered the originator of Vedic Dharma in the Puranas. This same Marichi, in the Jain tradition, later became Mahavir Vardhaman. On page 176 of the same book, it is written, Tirthankara Rishabdev was the son of last Kulkar, Nabiraj. His mother was Marudevi. Nabiraj of the Ikshvaku dynasty was a popular king of Ayodhya. Upon reaching adulthood, Nabiraj married Rishabdev to Sunanda and Sumangla. Sunanda gave birth to a brilliant son named Bahubali and a daughter named Sundari, while Sumangala gave birth to Bharat and 99 other sons, along with a daughter named Brahmi. When the time came, Rishabdev entrusted the kingdom of Ayodhya to Bharat, Takshashila to Bahubali, and gave the remaining kingdoms to his other sons according to their abilities. He then renounced the world, took initiation, and engrossed himself in spiritual practice. During his time of spiritual practice, Pani Patri Rishabdev remained without food for a year. Later, Bahubali's grandson, Shreyansh Kumar, broke his fast by offering him sugarcane juice. Rishabdev engaged in penance continuously for 1,000 years and eventually attained Kaval Gyan and began giving spiritual initiation. He gave the first initiation to Bharat's son, Marichi, who later became the 24th Tirthankar Mahavir. Viewers, this Marichi is considered the originator of Vedic Dharma. Thus, Rishabdev renounced his kingdom and going into the forest, lived without food for a year. After performing penance for 1,000 years, he gave his first initiation to his grandson and Bharat's son, Marichi. Viewers, The spiritual practice that Rishabdev undertook himself, he imparted the same to his grandson Marichi. However, this spiritual practice was against the scriptures, because the giver of knowledge of the Gita says in Gita chapter 6, verse 16, "O Arjun, this worship, that is yog, is neither successful of the one who eats too much, nor of the one who doesn't eat at all, nor of the one who oversleeps, nor of the one who remains awake all the time." This means that their spiritual practices are futile. The giver of knowledge of the Gita has also mentioned in the Gita chapter 17 verses 5 and 6 that those men who only practice arbitrary severe penance, which is against the scriptures, and who are full of hypocrisy and arrogance, and are also full of desire, attachment, and pride of spiritual power, they torture the group of entities situated in the body as well as me, the God, dwelling in their hearts. Know those ignorants to have demoniac nature. It is clear that those who perform extreme penances are of demonic nature. Therefore, the spiritual practice that Rishabdev gave to his grandson Marichi was against the scriptures. Viewers, it is also stated in the Gita chapter 16, verse 23, that those who disregard the scriptural injunctions and act according to their own desires attain neither perfection, nor the supreme salvation, nor happiness. Immediately after this, in Gita chapter 16, verse 24, the knowledge giver of the Gita instructs Arjun saying, "Therefore, let the scriptures be your authority in determining what should and should not be done. Knowing this, you should perform only those actions that are prescribed by the scriptures." The spiritual practice performed by Rishabdev was severe penance. That penance and spiritual practice, because of being against the scriptures, was arbitrary conduct. The same arbitrary practice, according to his will, was passed down by Rishabdev to his grandson, Marichi, during initiation. As a result of the self-willed, arbitrary practice that Rishabdev performed against the scriptures, he met his end wandering in the forest with a piece of stone in his mouth, where he was burned to death. We can also see its evidence in Srimad Bhagavat Sudha Sagar. In Srimad Bhagavat Sudha Sagar, chapter 6, the death of Rishabdev. On page 281, it is written, "Under divine influence, he went to the lands of Konk, Vek, and Dakshin, etc. In Karnataka, and with a piece of stone in his mouth and hair disheveled, he wandered in a naked form in the Kutakachal forest. At that time, due to a violent storm, friction from the bamboo caused a strong fire to ignite, which engulfed the entire forest in its fiery flames, reducing Rishabdev and everything else to ashes." Viewers, the meditation practiced by Rishabdev was the same that he imparted to his grandson, that is, the son of Bharat, Marichi, in initiation, which was against the scriptures. And then, as a result of that, what misfortune befell the soul of Marichi? Listen closely. According to the Jain religious text, Jain Sanskriti Kosh, Encyclopedia of Jainism, Marichi established the Vedic Dharma. Vedic Dharma is a distorted form of Sanatan Dharma. This practice does not end the cycle of birth and death. Viewers, Hindu Dharma is also referred to as Vedic Dharma and Sanatan Dharma. To those who consider Vedic Dharma to be the best, we present before you the life history of its founder, Sri Marichi. Viewers, seeing the fate of Marichi's soul will make your heart sink. If this is the condition of the founder of Vedic Dharma, then just imagine what the condition of an ordinary worshipper must be. Therefore, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj repeatedly requests all devotees to adopt the scripture-aligned Sanatani worship so that your lives may be blessed. Let's see what misfortune befell the soul of Marichi, the founder of Vedic Dharma, as a result of the spiritual practice he received from Rishabdev. Its evidence is in the book, Aao Jain Dharm Ko Jane, Let Us Understand Jainism, author Praveen Chandra Jain, M.A. Shastri, Jammu Dweep, Hastinapur. On its page 294, a question has been asked. After the first heaven, in which form did the soul of Lord Mahavir go next? In the answer to this question, it is mentioned that Bharat Chakravarti's queen, Anantmati, gave birth to him as their eldest son named Marichi, meaning it was the soul of Mahavir Jain that became Marichi. Continuing in this book, Aao Jain Dharm Ko Jane, on page 295, it is written, "In Ether Nigod, his soul took the form of a creature Nigodia with the lifespan of an ocean. After leaving the body of Nigod, To which form did the soul of Lord Mahavir go? Viewers, continue reading, as what you are about to read will shock you, because the spiritual practice that Rishabdev himself performed was the same practice he passed on to his grandson, Bharat's son, Marichi. After performing that spiritual practice, in which forms did the soul of Marichi take birth, and how much suffering did it endure? You can read it for yourself. Born as an ak tree 1,000 times, meaning it became an ak tree. Born as a conch 80,000 times. Born as a neem tree 20,000 times. Born as a kelly tree 90,000 times. Born as a sandalwood tree 30,000 times. Born as a caner, oleander tree 5 crore times. Born as a prostitute 60,000 times. Born as a hunter 50 million times. Born as an elephant 200 million times. Born as a donkey 600 million times, meaning he became a donkey 600 million times. Viewers, even a single life of a donkey is filled with so much suffering, and here it is stated that the soul of Mahavir Jain became a donkey 600 million times. After that, it had to endure the life of a dog 300 million times, took birth as an impotent 600 million times, was born as a woman 200 million times, born as a washerman 9 million times, born as a horse 80 million times, born as a cat 20 million times, died from miscarriage 6 million times, and attained the form of a deity 8 million times. After experiencing all these births, in which body or form did Lord Mahavir's soul go? In the city of Ragra, it became a Brahmin named Stavar. From the body of Stavar, where did Lord Mahavir's soul go? It became a deity with the lifespan of 7 oceans in Mahendra heaven. From Mahendra heaven, where did Lord Mahavir's soul go? In Rajgra, it became the son named Vishwanandi. From the Jain queen of King Vishwabhuti, after leaving the body of Vishwanandi, where did Lord Mahavir's soul go? It became a deity in Mahashukra heaven. From Mahashukra heaven, where did Lord Mahavir's soul go? It became Narayan named Triprishta. Where did Lord Mahavir's soul go from Triprishta Narayan? It went to the 7th hell. From the 7th hell, where did Lord Mahavir's soul go? In Chhatrapur city of Jambudweep, it became the son named Nand to Queen Virmati of King Nandi Vardhan. In which body did Nand's soul go next? It became a deity in a pushpatar vehicle, and ultimately became the 24th Tirthankar, Lord Mahavir. Viewers, because of receiving spiritual practice contrary to the scriptures from Rishabdev, the soul of Marichi endured numerous sufferings, and in the same tradition, he later became Lord Mahavir Jain. Now, read further. How many false beliefs did the soul of Lord Mahavir propagate? Its answer has been given. He propagated 363 false beliefs. Before this, Marichi's soul was born as a donkey millions of times, as a dog millions of times, and experienced many other births, including becoming a deity in heaven, yet he remained trapped in the well of Harit. Viewers, this plight of Marichi's soul resulted from practicing the penance taught by his grandfather Rishabdev, which is contrary to the Sanatani worship. Manu, Rishabdev, and other sages derived the practice of penance from the life events of Brahma. But viewers, there is no provision for practicing penance anywhere in the Gita or the Vedas. Now let us show you the evidence of the event from Brahma's life that initiated penance. In Srimad Devi Bhagavat Puran, 3rd Skanda, chapters 3 to 5, it is written, Brahma, while answering his son Narad question, said, I found myself seated on a lotus flower, and a celestial voice said, perform penance, perform penance. I practiced penance for 1,000 years. This Vedic practice of penance originated from Rishabdev. At that time, approximately 100,000 years of the Satyug had passed. The chanting of the mantra Om and the practice of penance became a mixed tradition, which the Gita refers to as arbitrary conduct, abandoning scriptural methods. In Gita chapter 17, verses 5 and 6, those who perform severe penance are called demons. This spiritual practice of Rishabdev has been followed by all sages. Later, these sages also abandoned the chanting of Om mantra and focused solely on penance, as evidenced by the history of these sages. Viewers, it is also essential to mention here that the book Aao Jain Dharm Ko Jane provides evidence that Rishabdev Ji was born as Baba Adam. This is the book Aao Jain Dharm Ko Jane. On its page 154, it is written, "What is Lord Adinath considered in Islam?" The answer written is Baba Adam. Viewers, Adinath himself is known by the name Rishabdev. All the people of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity regard Baba Adam as the first man and the first prophet. That is, the first messenger of their respective religions. The knowledge that Rishabdev had was a conduct of his own will, abandoning the scriptural method. This means that Rishabdev did not have the knowledge of Sanatani worship or the method of Sanatani worship, whereas in all these religions, the same spiritual practice contrary to the scriptures is being performed which was taught by Rishabdev, that is Baba Adam, which Rishabdev himself practiced. However, the end that Rishabdev met due to this arbitrary practice is something you have already seen in this episode. Rishabdev imparted the same spiritual practice to his grandson Marichi. You have also read about the plight of Marichi's soul in the book Aao Jain Dharm Ko Jane. Please think, if Marichi did not attain salvation through the spiritual practice taught by Rishabdev, that is Baba Adam, how can all of you attain salvation? You can reflect on this yourself. This proves that nowhere in the world is worship being performed according to the scriptures. Rather, arbitrary practices are being followed. Today, in the entire world, only Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj is imparting the true method of worship of the Adi Sanatani worship. This same method of worship is described in the Gita. In Gita chapter 8 verse 13, Kaal Brahm has mentioned only one mantra, Om, for his devotional worship, and in Gita chapter 17 verse 23, for the devotional worship of Param Akshar Brahm, that is, Sachidanand Gan Brahm, he has mentioned the mantra Om Tat Sat, which is symbolic. Apart from the practice of this mantra, Om, and Om Tat Sat, other practices and mantras are declared contrary to scriptures, meaning worthless, in Gita chapter 16, verses 23 and 24. Let us again refer to the sacred Gita. According to Gita chapter 4, verses 1 and 2, the Sanatani worship and knowledge lasted until the Ikshvaku descendant, royal sage Nabiraj. After that, it was lost, meaning it became extinct. It was uttered in the form of the Gita approximately 5,600 years ago at the end of the Dwapar Yuga. For those who ask whether the ancient sages attained liberation, we have already received its answer. Since their practice was arbitrary conduct, abandoning scriptural methods, how could they achieve liberation? According to Gita chapter 16 verse 23, the practices of all these sages were futile because all these sages abandoned the scriptural methods and engaged in arbitrary conduct, meaning they abandoned the chanting of the Om mantra and focused solely on penance. This proves that these sages did not attain liberation. We can also find evidence of this in the Markandeya Puran. Viewers, the Markandeya Puran states that there was a sage named Ruchi who practiced devotional worship according to the Vedas, meaning he performed Sanatani worship. He considered attaining liberation as the primary purpose of life, which is why he did not marry. Sage Ruchi did not perform penance. He solely worshipped Brahm. The ancestors of Sage Ruchi had abandoned Sanatani worship and engaged in severe penance and rituals, that is, arbitrary practices, which is why they did not attain liberation and instead took birth in the realms of ghosts and ancestral spirits. They compelled Sage Ruchi to abandon Vedic worship and follow arbitrary conduct, making Ruchi also suffer in hell. Let us see this evidence from the Markandeya Puran. In Markandeya Puran, on page 250, in the story of the origin of Roche Manu, it is written that Markandeya Ji says, Brahman, in ancient times, Prajapati Ruchi wandered on this earth, free from attachment and ego. He had no fear of anyone. He slept very little. He neither established a fire nor built a home for himself. He ate only once and lived without an ashram. Seeing him living free from all kinds of attachments and in the manner of a sage, his ancestral spirit spoke to him. The ancestral spirit said, Son, marriage is a pious act that leads to heaven and liberation. Why have you not done it? A householder, by worshipping all the gods, ancestral spirits, sages, and guests, attains virtuous realms. By uttering the word swaha, he offers to the gods, and by saying swada, he offers to the ancestral spirits. And through the donation of food and other offerings, one dedicates their share to beings such as ghosts and guests. Viewers, here the ancestors of sage Ruchi are urging him to perform Shraddh rites and saying, "Son, we believe that by not accepting the householder's ashram, you will face troubles in this life and continue to suffer after death and in the next birth as well." Here, Ruchi's ancestors, through practices contrary to scriptures, have themselves attained the lives of ghosts. Now, they are questioning their descendant, Ruchi, why he is not following the same scripture-opposing practice. Sage Ruchi replies to this and says, Ruchi said, "O ancestral spirits, mere possession leads to immense sorrow and sin, causing a downfall for the individual. Thinking this, I refrained earlier from having a wife. Self-control over the mind and senses does not lead to liberation if one engages in possession." The ancestral spirits replied, "Son, while it is indeed appropriate to purify the soul through self-restraint, the path you are on is the way to liberation." Viewers, Sage Ruchi's ancestors are acknowledging that Sage Ruchi is engaging in practices aligned with the scriptures, and that this is the path to liberation. Yet, Ruchi's ancestors still urge Ruchi to perform rituals like Shraddh, and to engage in practices that deviate from the scriptures. To this, Sage Ruchi asks his ancestors. Ruchi asked, "Grandfathers, the path of rituals has been called ignorance in the Vedas, so why are you all trying to set me on that path?" Viewers, here Ruchi has again said to his ancestors, "O grandfathers, the Vedas have called this path of action, that is, the rites like Shraddh, etc., ignorance, meaning it has been referred to as practices contrary to the scriptures. Then why do you repeatedly urge me to perform this practice?" Now listen to what Ruchi's ancestors say in response to this. The ancestral spirits said, "It is true that action is called ignorance. There is no falsehood in this. If you do not heed our words, we will face downfall." Viewers, for those who seek the truth, this excerpt from the Markandeya Puran is sufficient to show that no one attained liberation because they all engaged in the same arbitrary practices that Sage Ruchi's Brahmin ancestors used to follow. Due to this arbitrary practice, the ancestors of Sage Ruchi fell into the realm of ancestral spirits. This same arbitrary practice was imposed on Sage Ruchi by his ancestors, leading him away from the path of liberation and pushing him into hell. Sant Garibdas Ji has stated in the Suksham Ved that Paras se bheta nahi kaise palate loh. It means that just as iron cannot turn into gold without being touched by the philosopher's stone, similarly, without coming into contact with a Tattvadarshi Sant and receiving initiation from him in all three stages, including the original mantra Om Tat Sat of the Adi Sanatani worship, attaining liberation is absolutely impossible. Therefore, those who abandon scriptural methods and perform arbitrary practices can never attain liberation. Due to the absence of a Tattvadarshi Sant, after 100,000 years of the Satyug had passed, practices devoid of scriptural methods began, which came into prevalence after the Ikshvaku dynasty royal sage Nabiraj. This practice continues in Hindu society up to the current year 2024. It is ironic that the knowledge said to have been imparted 5,600 years ago, meaning the knowledge of the four Vedas, was first given by the Gita's knowledge giver to Surya Dev. Then the same knowledge was passed to Swayambhu Manu, then to Ikshvaku, and later to the royal sage Nabiraj of the Ikshvaku lineage. After that, it became lost. This knowledge was later conveyed by Kal Brahm, the knowledge giver of Gita, to Pandav Arjun, which is now known as the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Viewers, if we look at all the sacred scriptures in the world, such remarkable knowledge as found in the Gita is nowhere else to be seen. Moreover, the birth of Adi Shankaracharya on this earth proved to be very significant for us, because at a time when Buddhism was rapidly spreading, threatening to turn all of India into atheists, Adi Shankaracharya established Hinduism. which is why people's faith in God remains intact today. Viewers, due to the extended duration of this episode, the remaining part has been provided in the description box. How did Hinduism become so great? Yet every Hindu remains unaware of it to this day. To learn this secret, please click on the link provided in the description box. In the continuation of this episode, many more secrets have been revealed. Now we will show you a glimpse of the benefits derived from Adi Sanatani worship, which will help you understand that such benefits can only be attained through Adi Sanatani worship. Viewers, here is an example of how the Adi Sanatani worship received from Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj brings you spiritual and physical happiness. Each year, lightning strikes devastate hundreds of lives, often not allowing individuals even a chance to reach a hospital. When death looms so close, threatening to extinguish your breath, there is no support other than the Supreme God. However, this individual has seemingly defied death, demonstrating that Adi Sanatani worship can indeed avert even death. Watch how this devotee was granted a new lease on life as a result of practicing Adi Sanatani worship received from Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj.
नमस्कार दर्शकों, आज मैं आपको एक ऐसे चमत्कार से रूबरू करवाता हूँ जो आकाशीय बिजली से जिस शख्स की आज जान बची है, मैं उस शख्स से आपको रूबरू करवाता हूँ। बंगाल की राजधानी कोलकाता से 50 किलोमीटर दूर उदय नारायणपुर में जब परसों के दिन यहाँ पर बहुत ज़बरदस्त बारिश हुई थी, इन दुकानों के पास एक ऐसे भी यहाँ पर लोग खड़े थे जो धार्मिक पुस्तकों का प्रचार कर रहे थे। इन्हीं के पास यहाँ पर आकाश से एक बिजली गिरी और बिजली गिरने के बाद भी उनको किसी तरह की कोई क्षति नहीं हुई, उनकी कोई किसी तरह की हानि नहीं हुई। वो शख्स मेरे साथ मौजूद है। उस शख्स की जुबानी मैं आपको सुनवाऊंगा कि कैसे इस बिजली के कहर से और इस दुख से उनकी रक्षा हुई, कैसे वो बिजली के वज्रपात से बचे, उनकी मुख जुबानी मैं आज आपको सुनाऊंगा। इस चमत्कार से मैं आपको रूबरू करूंगा कि कैसे उन शख्स की यहाँ पर बिजली के झटके से, बिजली से उनकी रक्षा हुई। चश्मदीद गवाह है, वो मेरे साथ अभी जुड़ गए हैं। यहाँ के जो दुकानदार हैं, उन्होंने भी ये घटना देखी कि कैसे बिजली गिरी थी, तो मैं उनसे भी बात कर लेता हूँ कि इस घटना के बारे में। नमस्कार सर, मुझे बताइए उस दिन क्या घटना घटी थी, आपने क्या देखा?
उस दिन একটা बज जा रहा है, उस दिन बहुत बारिश हो रहा था और बारिश होने के बाद बहुत जोर से बिजली गिरा और वो आदमी गीता बेच रहा था, इधर खड़ा होके वो उसके पास धक्का लगा और जल के ऊपर चले गए। ऊपर वाला वो गीता बेच रहा था, वो बच गया।
अच्छा सर, आपने क्या क्या देखा?
দুপুরে একটার সময় বিজলি পড়তে, সেই বিজলি পড়তে সময় নেই ছিলেন, বিজলি পড়তে উনি খুব জোর বেঁচে গেছেন গীতার জন্য, ঈশ্বর ওকে বাঁচিয়েছে।
तो आपने देखा ये
ক্ষতি हो गया।
आपने देखा यहाँ जो बिजली गिरी थी, बिजली का कैसा धमाका था, कैसा प्रकाश था?
এখানে বিজলি পড়তে যে बहुत जोर पड़ता है, लेकिन आसपास से क्षति হয়েছে, উনিও জোর বেঁচে গেছে।
तो जैसा कि इन्होंने बताया कि यहाँ पर एक शख्स पर जो बिजली गिरी थी, इन्होंने उसको देखा था, बहुत तेज उसका प्रकाश था, बहुत तेज उसका धमाका था। लेकिन जैसा कि इनका कहना है कि ये कुछ प्रचार कर रहे थे, जिस वजह से इनकी रक्षा हुई और ये सुरक्षित वहाँ से बचे। यहाँ पर जब बिजली गिरी थी तब ये दुकान भी थी यहाँ पर, और दुकान में जैसा कि ये दुकानदार बता रहे हैं कि इनके ये कैमरे का जो अडेप्टर है वो भी नीचे टूट गया था। तो मैं इन्हीं की जुबानी आपको सुनाता हूँ। तो सर बताइए, उस दिन बिजली गिरी थी तो आपका क्या नुकसान हुआ था?
मेरा नुकसान है और मेरा जो एलीमीटर, कैमरा का एलीमीटर, वो जल गया, फिर पंखा भी जल गया था, वो अभी सही है।
तो सर वो बिजली का झटका कैसा था?
बहुत झटका था। जिसका पास गीता था उसका हाथ में गिरा था, जिसका पास गीता था, जिसका हाथ में, उसका हाथ में ही गिरा था वो बिजली। मेरा सामने से मैं देखा जो बिजली जब गिरा था।
तो इनका कहना है कि जिसके हाथ में गीता थी वही शख्स बचा था, बाकी नुकसान भी काफ़ी यहाँ पर हुआ था। तो मेरे साथ ये भी शख्स है जिन्होंने भी अपनी आंखों से बिजली को गिरते हुए देखा। तो सर आप बताइए, आपने जो आंखों देखा वो आप जुबानी बताएं।
मैंने आंखों देखा, ये मेरे साथ में ही खड़ा हुआ था यहीं पे, ऊपर से बिजली आई और उसके शरीर को छूती हुई निकल के और तुरंत उठ के चली गई। इतना भयानक आवाज़ था कि आदमी डर जाए, रूह कांप जाए, इतना तेज़ आवाज़ था। और बहुत डरावनी आवाज़ें थी, आदमी आधा तो वैसे ही मर जाए आवाज़ से, इतनी भयानक आवाज़ थी।
कहते हैं कि बिजली जब गिरती है तो या तो इंसान की मौत हो जाती है या वो बहुत गंभीर रूप से घायल हो जाता है, तो न तो इनके साथ ऐसा कुछ नहीं है क्या? इनके कोई शरीर में घाव हुआ या ऐसा कुछ आपने देखा?
ये तो संत रामपाल जी महाराज की दया है कि हम उनकी सेवा कर देते हैं, उनके शिष्य है, इसलिए जो है हमारे जीवन की रक्षा हुई है। और बहुत तेज बिजली था।
तो सर आप बताइए, आप ये पीड़ित पक्ष है जिस पे बिजली छूकर निकली थी, बिजली का झटका जिनको लगा था, तो सर आप बताइए पूरी घटना आपके साथ क्या हुआ था और आप यहाँ क्या खड़े थे, क्या कर रहे थे?
सर देखिए, यहाँ पे बरसात हो रही थी, बरसात से बचने के लिए हम इस भाई साहब की दुकान पे यहाँ पे खड़े हो गए। यहाँ पे मेरा गुरु भाई एक खड़ा था, एक वहाँ पे 3 फुट पे एक खड़ा था और मैं यहाँ पे खड़ा था। एकदम आकाश से एक प्रकाश सा निकला और मेरे पे आके गिर गया। मेरे को एकदम ऐसे लगा कि जैसे मेरे पे एक वायर, करंट वाला वायर गिरा हो। तो एकदम मेरे को बहुत तगड़ा झटका लगा और झटका लगने से जब झटका लगता है एक बहुत भयंकर आवाज़ आई, जैसे हमारा कालजा फट जाएगा।
अच्छा सर ये बताइए, जब आपको बिजली का झटका लगा था तो उस समय आपका कोई नुकसान हुआ था, कोई चोट लगी थी आपको, क्या हुआ था?
मेरे सिर्फ सर इस कंधे पे आके बिजली गिरी, इस पे मान लो दर्द हुआ बस, मतलब एक दिन दर्द रहा। अब तो ठीक हूँ मैं, परमात्मा की कृपा से, संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी की कृपा से। संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी की कृपा से हम उन्हीं की पुस्तक का उनकी कृपा से प्रचार कर रहे थे। उन्हीं की कृपा से उन्होंने मेरा जीवन दान बचाया, संत रामपाल जी महाराज ने, नहीं तो आज मैं आपके सामने नहीं होता सर।
यानी आपके गुरुदेव जी ने आपकी रक्षा करी है, नहीं तो जैसा कि हम देखते हैं कई रिपोर्ट्स में हमने पढ़ा है जिन पर बिजली गिरी है, चाहे जानवर हो चाहे इंसान हो, वो बिल्कुल ख़त्म ही हो जाता है, लेकिन आपकी यहाँ पर रक्षा हुई। आप किसको ये रक्षा का क्रेडिट और क्या मानते हो?
मैं इस रक्षा का क्रेडिट मेरे गुरुदेव, पूज्य गुरुदेव संत रामपाल जी महाराज को दूंगा, क्योंकि मैं उन्हीं के बताए हुए मार्ग पे चल रहा हूँ। जब मेरे पे इतनी भयंकर बिजली गिरी तो मेरा तो शरीर ही राख हो जाना था। मैं उन्हीं की कृपा से बचा हूँ। संत रामपाल जी महाराज मेरे गुरुदेव हैं, जो उन्होंने मेरे पे कृपा करी, मेरे को बचाया। सर मैं बच्चों की कसम खा के बताता हूँ, मेरी जुबान में कीड़े पड़े, मैं झूठ नहीं बोल रहा। यहीं पे खड़ा था मैं, जब मेरे पे बिजली गिरी, इतना बड़ा झटका लगा, लेकिन मेरे शरीर में कोई भी ऐसा भी कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि मेरे शरीर कहीं से भी नहीं जला। ये भाई ने भी देखा है, दुकानदार ने भी, और भी यहाँ पे जो भाई साहब खड़े हैं इन्होंने भी देखा है। और जब ये भाई साहब बता रहे थे मेरे को कि तेरे पे बहुत बड़ा भयंकर बिजली का बिजली गिरी आकर, तो इन्होंने ये देखा, मैं तो आंखें चुंधे आ गई थी मेरी, तो एकदम बहुत भयंकर झटका लगा। इतनी तेज़ आवाज़ हो रही थी कि हमारा तो कालजा ही फाट जाएगा।
तो आपके गुरुदेव जी ने आपकी रक्षा करी?
बिल्कुल जी, हमारे गुरुदेव संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी ने हमारी रक्षा करी।
सर आप कुछ कहना चाहोगे इनके बारे में?
वो बात सही बोल रहा है, हमको देखा, आंखों से देखा, ऐसा हो रहा है।
दृष्टा भी मेरे साथ मौजूद है, उनसे भी मैं उनकी बात जान लेता हूँ। तो सर आपने क्या देखा जब बिजली गिरी थी?
जोर का बारिश हुआ, बड़ा बड़ा बूंद से, और बिजली चमकी, और इनका हाथ पे लगी और इनका हाथ भी दुखा था।
उनको कैसा झटका लगा?
हमने ऐसा देखा जो इन पे लगी, इनका हाथ जला नहीं तो इनका हाथ दुखने लगा।
ऐसा सर आप क्या कहना?
हम देखा है बिजली चमकाता है, लोग मर जाता है, बिजली के झलसता नहीं है, हाथ में कोनो भी गोटा बॉडी में कोनो टूट नहीं जाए,
मतलब किसी तरह का कोई नुकसान नहीं हुआ?
नुकसान नहीं हुआ।
सर आपने क्या देखा?
सर हम साथ में ही थे, मैं 100 मीटर की दूरी पे था। परमात्मा की दया से, बंदी छोड़ संत रामपाल जी महाराज की दया से प्रचार सेवा करने के लिए आए, तो 100 मीटर इतना धमाका हुआ, अचानक से मेरे तो कलेजा हिल गया। मैंने कहा ये क्या हो गया, और बाद में पता पड़ा कि हमारी भगत भाई पर और ये घटना हो गई। तो मैं भी हैरान हो गया, पर परमात्मा की इतनी दया हुई, बंदी छोड़ संत रामपाल जी महाराज की दया से, कि हमारे भगत भाई पे नुकसान नहीं हुआ, कुछ भी नुकसान नहीं हुआ, हल्का सा झटका लगा, गुरुजी ने बचा लिया।
तो सर क्या मैं इसको सहयोग मानूं या आपके गुरुदेव जी की कृपा मानूं?
सर ये तो बंदी छोड़ सतगुरु रामपाल जी महाराज की दया और कृपा है, नहीं वरना बिजली से कौन बचता है।
Viewers, you have heard from Sri Ramcharitmanas, the extraordinary knowledge which leads to complete salvation and was a mystery till now. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has today proved from the sacred Ramcharitmanas that the 12-letter mantra is not Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, but rather it is these 12-letter mantra given in the first stage of the Adi Sanatani worship. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has established that many Brahmas, Vishnus and Shivs are born from the Sachidanand Gan Brahm. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has also proved that the father of the physical bodies of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh is Kal Brahm. It has also been proven from the Ramcharitmanas that Adi Shakti Jagmula, that is, Durga, gave rise to Parvati, Lakshmi, and Savitri, and that goddess Durga and Kal are husband and wife. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj has also confirmed that in the beginning of the Satyug, Manu and Satrupa practiced Adi Sanatani worship. Furthermore, the complete story of Sanatani worship, from its inception to its conclusion, has been revealed by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj in this episode for the devotee community. In his sermons, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj cited the Sukshma Ved, explaining that Tum kaun Ram ka japte japam, tate kate na tino tapam. In other words, the chanting of the names of the deities you worship, Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, and Sri Shankar Ji, while hoping for salvation will not bring any benefit. These lords of the three worlds could not even end the suffering caused by their own deeds. They too had to endure the consequences of their own actions. So how can you expect to remove your sufferings by chanting their names? Sri Tulsidas Ji, through the events of Sri Ramchandra's life as narrated in the Ramayana, wants to convey that we should learn from them that Sri Ramchandra himself was Lord Vishnu. Even he endured one sorrow after another in his life. Even Lord Vishnu, in the form of Ramchandra Ji, practiced devotional worship to the eternal, blissful, supreme God, Sachidanand Gan Brahm, for his own salvation. You too should obtain the complete method of worship of that supreme God from a Tattvadarshi Sant to attain salvation. Merely listening to the tales of the Ramayana does not fulfill the purpose of human life. A great deception is being played upon you. The biography of Sri Ramchandra in Tulsidas, Ramcharitmanas, demonstrates that even though Lord Sri Ramchandra was an incarnation of Vishnu, his entire life was filled with hardships. It is worth pondering that if Sri Ramchandra Ji's life was filled with hardships, how can the devotees who worship him as the supreme God expect their lives to be devoid of suffering? Tulsidas Ji's Ramcharitmanas clearly establishes that just as Lord Ram, that is, Lord Vishnu, worships the complete God, Sachidanand Gan Brahm, you too must devote yourself to the Supreme God to experience a blissful life. The devotional worship that Manu and Satrupa practiced at the beginning of the Satyug is now being provided only by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj in the present time. We request all of you to take the complete three-step devotional worship as explained by Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj in time and make your human life successful.
सब जन में एक बीज से सबकी मिट्टी एक मन में दुविधा पड़ गई हो गए रूप अनेक हो गए रूप अनेक